Well, the City fans are often accused of not making noise. Pep Guardiola's asked them to make it loud in here, in block capitals in the programme tonight, and they are loud, and there's a huge banner covering the bottom two tiers opposite us here at the Etihad. It says, "I'll follow you everywhere," with a big Man City badge behind it. Away to our right, Main Road, Moss Side, a nod to the old stadium in the part of Manchester where that was situated. There is a history here. People think there isn't. They won a title in the 30s, they won a title in the 60s as well. There is a history with Manchester City, but there's also a kind of healthy cynicism and scepticism among the older fans who probably at this stage still don't think City are going to win anything this season. Well, we shall see as the teams make their way onto the pitch to even more noise. It's a game that needs no introduction, so let's get straight to the commentary team, live and exclusive and only on Talksport. It's former City boss Stuart Pearce, Arsenal title winner Perry Groves, and Talksport's chief football commentator Sam Matterface.
Thanks, Adrian. Evening, everyone. Well, it was arguably the documentary that done it. Maybe it made the outside world listen, believe, trust in Mikel Arteta and his process. But to accomplish his aims, finish the project tonight, it is quite simply all or nothing. Manchester City are the great finishers. They have won 17 of their last 19 Premier League games in this pivotal month of April, and they can afford to draw here tonight and still have the title in their hands. So there's clarity for Arsenal. Win and it's yours to lose. Lose and it's theirs to win. It's been billed as decisive because it can be. Mikel Arteta said it wouldn't be, but no one quite believed him. Team news incoming. Game about to start, but there has been a goal down at West Ham in the Premier League, and let's get there now to Talksport's Ian Abrahams.
13 gone, West Ham 1, Liverpool 0. Lewis Paqueta with a stunning strike from 22 yards out, no chance for Alisson. The game live on Talksport 2, West Ham 1, Liverpool 0.
And we'll have fallout to all the games throughout the course of the evening here on Talksport. Sports Bar open for business on a pivotal week of Premier League action from 10:30 tonight. We'll have all the interviews and reaction from all the big games, including this one here, as we take you through what could be a massive evening of Premier League football. Well, let's have a run through the two teams, starting with Manchester City, who bring in Kyle Walker for Nathan Ake. Is he going to play on the right-hand side? He's just wandered into the right full-back position away to our left-hand side. Diaz just sort of went out towards the left. We'll keep an eye on it. Akanji, Diaz, Walker, they're the three in front of Ederson. Stones and Rodri in midfield with Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan and Grealish. And Haaland looking for his 49th goal of the season, leads the line. Arsenal have Ramsdale in goal, White holding, Gabriel and Zinchenko, Partey, Erdogan and Xhaka, Saka, Jesus and Martinelli, the front three. Manchester City in their home kit of light blue jerseys, white shorts and light blue socks. And Arsenal, the visitors, in their traditional home kit of red-bodied jerseys with white sleeves, white shorts and red socks. Our referee today is Michael Oliver. His assistant Stuart Burton, Ian Hussin. David Coote is the VAR. And on the touchline down in front of us, old friends reunited. Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta embrace prior to kick-off and renewing hostilities. They don't communicate as much as they used to. We're rivals now, says Pep, and there's a lot of games we haven't got time to talk. Tonight, it's about the football. It means so much for Manchester City and Arsenal on Talksport. Party atmosphere inside the stadium. Could be absolutely massive tonight. Could decide the title in effect. Could give us an indication as to who's got the bottle to go on and win it. On Talksport we bring you the best and the brightest. Right now we've got 3 other games streaming live on our app. On Talksport 2 it's West Ham versus Liverpool with Ian Danta and Dean Ashton. But here, it's the tussle for the title with the Titans, Manchester City taking on Arsenal, and it's live and it's only on Talksport. And in the commentary box with me, we've got champions with Manchester City and Arsenal, Stuart Pearce and Perry Groves, and it looks immediately as if Manchester City have settled into a back four, Perry Groves, with a Kanji as the furthest wide on the left.
Yeah, John Stones at centre half, Carl Walker in the right back position, Rodri and Goodwin as the two holding midfield players.
Stuart Pearce, how will that affect the game?
I'm just wondering if they still want to press John Stones into a midfield formation and make a sort of two in there with him and Rodri. They can do that with Walker just balancing off to make the three in behind him, so that could work. Not seen it as yet, but the game's just developing a pattern at present.
That's what they did in the first leg here against Bayern Munich the other week. We played just over a minute. You're listening to Talksport. Diaz has it on the left-hand side. He clips it towards the halfway line. Manchester City shooting from left to right in the first half. And the ball is out of play over on the far side, where Akanji will pick it up. Now it's with Diaz, who wanders into midfield. Manchester City in rare form, 11 wins in their last 12. Arsenal have dropped 6 points in their last 3 games, having won 7 in a row prior to this. This is Gundogan powering through midfield. Down the left side he goes towards the edge of the Arsenal penalty area, picked up by Grealish, and now it's into De Bruyne. A low cross in towards the near post, an accusation of handball inside the area, and it clips through and goes through to Aaron Ramsdale. And the referee shakes his head. There's a goal down at West Ham, and here's Ian Abrahams with another strike very early on.
17 gone, West Ham 1, Liverpool 1, equaliser from Cody Gakpo, also a long way out, 25-30 yards out, low shot into the bottom corner. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1, it's live on Talksport 2.
It's a mistake, Haaland goes down, free kick given. Well, this could be a controversial moment. Aaron Ramsdale came out, spilt the ball on the edge of the 6-yard box, looking nervous. There seemed to be a tangle with Haaland as there was a coming together inside the penalty area. The ball was played in by Grealish through the 6-yard box. It was pushed out by Ramsdale. Haaland went in to try and get a strike away. He was blocked by Partey.
That's
it was actually De Bruyne who was blocked by Partey, and it looks like it may well be going to VAR.
On first look, Sam, that looks like a penalty because Thomas Partey's come across Kevin De Bruyne there. He's actually fouled Kevin De Bruyne. He stopped him getting to the ball first. If that isn't a penalty, Arsenal have actually got away with one there.
Yeah, very much so. Sometimes you get your body across in front of the ball, don't you, if you can. For me, I think he's done exactly that, but he's done it for a reason, Perry, as you and I know, you know.
He stopped De Bruyne actually getting onto the ball. Sam, that all started, and I said about not making individual mistakes. Ben White gave the ball away in the right back position, straight to Gundogan, and then he feeds it to Jack Grealish, and Arsenal under pressure.
Do you think this is why this game's so difficult to even have VAR involved in it? Because that decision could have gone any way. If he'd have given a penalty on the pitch, Perry, he'd have stuck with it.
Well, I think the key thing is that because he's given the free kick the other way, there's no clear and obvious evidence to overturn it, so the referee is not going to be advised to go and have a look at the monitor. I think if it had gone the other way, as you say, they would have stuck with the on-field decision.
The thing, it's not a horrendous decision, Sam. That's the point, is it? We want VAR to get involved in that, but I would say that Arsenal still got away one, because I think that is, if you're saying on percentage-wise, that's 80% a penalty.
It's Talksport on a Wednesday evening, and it is Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0. Elsewhere, Forest 0, Brighton 0. Forest have missed a penalty. Chelsea 0-0 with Brentford. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1, and we've already had a penalty shout here. Martinelli thinks he's onside. He's going down the right side into Saka inside the area. Scoops it through the 6-yard box, covering across from right back is Walker, and he kicks it clear over on the far side. Now the Manchester City fans are unhappy that they think Martinelli was offside in the original move, and as a result of that, Arsenal have gained yardage. Stuart?
He was definitely onside for me. I think it was Diaz across the line, being the last man, looking across, holding his line. I think it was him. He's onside. I thought that from the offset, and I still think it now looking at the replay.
Sam, it's great build-up play from Arsenal down the right-hand side. Ben White, Bukayo Saka, then getting the ball in the box. Gabriel Jesus starts off in the left wing position. He's got to make sure that he's around the penalty spot. He's got to make sure he gets in that number 9 spot.
Well, Manchester City are in rare form, 11 wins in their last 12. Arsenal have dropped 6 points in their last 3 games, having won 7 in a row prior to that. It's a beautiful evening in Manchester. The sun has been shining all day. There's a cobalt blue sky above our head, but Pep Guardiola is not satisfied with the early exchanges. He's come out towards the little drinks trolley, sitting down now on it. He's just kicked a load of drinks across the floor into the 360 camera, which is just in front of his technical area. Yeah, he's not happy.
What's got up his nose is going back to the FA Cup game that Arsenal played here. They pressed really aggressively, a 5-man press, 5 dropping off. That's exactly what happened just then. Arsenal pressed very aggressively, and he's got a frustration with his goalkeeper that he's gone back to front and give the ball away, I think. So they've obviously looked at that, as you do in previous games, and said, look, Arsenal are coming at us.
Well, one of the things that they did in that game is that City went long to try and beat the press, and Guardiola obviously has decided this time he doesn't want them to do that. Stones has just done exactly that, launched it up to Haaland, who's brought it down, then sent it through to De Bruyne, and now they build, charging through the centre. De Bruyne taking on Gabriel, right-footed shot. Oh, what a goal! What a fantastic goal! Brilliant! Oh, that's amazing! Ball cleared upfield by Stones into Haaland. He holds it up, he lays it off. De Bruyne goes charging through the centre. He takes on all comers. He hands them off and charges to the edge of the box. And then he unleashes a missile into the bottom corner beyond Aaron Ramsdale. And within 7 minutes of the game starting, Manchester City are in front against Arsenal in this titanic title tussle. Stuart Pearce.
Well, a couple of things have happened there. For a start, brilliance, absolute brilliance from the centre forward, holding the ball up, putting De Bruyne in. De Bruyne had one thing on his mind, drive straight at Gabriel. I thought he was going to his left, dragged it to his right and unleashed an incredible drive from outside the box. Brilliant goal. As soon as the ball hit the back of the net, Pep's on the pitch straight to his goalkeeper and give him a coaching session basically about playing out from the back.
Do you know what it is? Arsenal put the press on. It goes on from John Stones. Rob Holding gets far too tight onto Haaland. He just lays it off. Kevin De Bruyne is in. Gabriel has got to make sure that he gets closer to De Bruyne and show him on his left-hand side. You can't show Kevin De Bruyne onto his right. And to be fair to De Bruyne, Sam, what a brilliant finish, because we can see from behind it, he actually starts the ball with the instep with his right foot about a yard outside the post, bends it round Aaron Ramsdale low to his left-hand side. Brilliant play from Man City to negate the press, but really, really poor defending from Arsenal.
Oh, it's terrific. It's absolutely terrific. And the way they got away with that was by playing up through the middle. Just as we were saying, that's what they tried to do last time around. They did it. It worked to a T. And it was a brilliant finish from Kevin De Bruyne, who gets his 8th goal of the season. He's been waiting for over a month now for that goal. He's been barren for a little while, but that one really counts. It really counts. Goal at the City ground. Let's go down there, Jeff Peters.
It's Nottingham Forest 0, Brighton 1. It's been scored by Facundo Buonanotte, the 18-year-old Argentinian, on his first Premier League start. 6-yard tap-in after Navas parried a shot. Keeper should have done better. Forest 0, Brighton 1.
Brighton challenging for Europe. They've only lost 2 of their Premier League games in 2023, and they lead by a goal to 0 down at the City ground. Still Chelsea 0, Brentford 0, West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. And here it's Manchester City who lead in the Premier League by a goal to 0. We've played 9 minutes. You're listening to Talksport. And there's another stoppage for an offside, which was given away to our left-hand side. Mikel Arteta and Albert Stubenberg having a chat on the near touchline. And they've got a conundrum to sort out, because it's not very often that the team gets scored against by Manchester City and then can respond in style. The good news is that Arsenal trailed 3 times in the last 10 games, and they've scored late winners in 2 of them. Perry Groves.
This is a big test now psychologically for the Arsenal players, because they're trying to play out for back. Man City are putting the press on. Just looking, we said about Haaland against Rob Holding. Every time it's come into him, Rob Holding's getting too close. Pierce to tell his defence, you've got to be touch tight. Haaland wants to feel you. Exactly what happened in the goal. And with Kevin De Bruyne, sometimes this game is high intensity, and it's all like 100 mile an hour stuff. Kevin De Bruyne, sometimes he looks like he's playing in a testimonial game. The way that he took the goal, the sign of great players is he just calmed himself down. You know, that vital sort of half a second. He made that look so easy.
Well, He was as accurate as and as cool as an assassin, wasn't he, when he smacked that ball in from 20 yards beyond Aaron Ramsdale. 1-0 to Manchester City. You're listening to Talksport. 10 minutes gone at the Etihad Stadium. It's been a helter-skelter start to the game. White into Ødegaard, missed by him. Diaz has it and plays it to the far side. Collected on the far touchline by Jack Grealish. Lovely little twirl, and he's powered away from White now, and he's moving into an advanced position. Haaland, lovely touch onto De Bruyne, back to Haaland into the area, and Gabriel's just about got away with it. It's hit Silva and then hit his hand. The referee's going to give a free kick here. I mean, but Saliba's been missing for the last couple of games, and he's been a real miss, hasn't he?
He's been a massive, without doubt. I think we all knew that Arsenal, if they suffered any injuries here and there, they could be struggling to keep pace. I think it's credit to Arsenal that they're still, well, they're probably 2 points clear now as it stands.
Well, yeah, they had an 8-point lead less than 3 weeks ago. That was April the 7th. Tonight it could be cut, if it stays like this, to just 2 points in the title race.
And just looking back at that goal, I've got to say, you can pick holes in defensive work and stuff.
Xhaka's gone down, picked up by De Bruyne. Oh, Michael Oliver, well, he initially said play on, and then he decided that he was going to pull the whistle out of his pocket and blow it. And Pep Guardiola is going absolutely crazy. I mean, he is losing his head. He is almost on the pitch. He's being restrained by Craig Pawson. He's going absolutely mad.
I don't know what he's actually doing down there. He's literally striking out. He's pushed the fourth official away from himself. He really needs to calm down a little bit.
Someone tell him that his team's 1-0 up at the moment, because, as you say, he's not happy. He wasn't happy there because I think it was Bernardo Silva who went to close Granit Xhaka down, and it was just a tiny clash of knees. It wasn't a foul. And to be fair, Arsenal at the moment, when Man City are putting the press on, they're giving the ball away too much.
Is that part of the game though, Stuart? Because that looked very pantomime from Pep Guardiola.
Only he knows whether he's slightly out of control or not. I've never seen him as over the top as that, to be honest with you. I've seen other managers, but from his point of view, I just think he gets caught up in the game.
Martinelli back to goal, plays it back to halfway. It's 1-0, and it's been intense, it's been fierce, it's been frenetic, it's been fast. And so far the class has come from Manchester City with a wonderful finish from Kevin De Bruyne. And we've played just 13 minutes. You're listening to Talksport. Ball cleared upfield by Arsenal towards the wide right. Looking for Bukayo Saka. He doesn't manage to get hold of it. It goes out of play on the far side. It's away for a throw-in. City haven't lost since Tottenham nicked a win on February the 5th. They've been eating away at Arsenal's lead in the Premier League, chomping through rounds of the FA Cup and the Champions League with little fuss. The only team to beat them here were Brentford in November.
When we've put teams up, I'm talking about West Ham here, put teams up against Arsenal, Ødegaard's position in that sort of, what would you call it, an inside right position, wouldn't you, has caused big problems. I don't know whether he's put a back four up here, and I saw just then that Diaz stepped in to deal with Ødegaard, you know, and turned it into a back three with Diaz stepped in front. As you can see, he's going now. He's looking for Ødegaard to step in on.
Ball's played through the middle as Arsenal play out from the back into Jesus. He sends it left. Gabriel takes it to halfway. Stones has now moved into an advanced position in midfield, and Silva was filling in at right back for a second. And Walker's walked into the centre half position. He's now switched with Stones again. They're moving around so fluidly as Arsenal try to play up towards halfway.
Well, Arsenal put Zinchenko at the moment out wide on this left-hand side. Gabriel Martelli's gone in as a centre forward to play up front with Gabriel Jesus. There's a lot of different tactical battles going on, and Ødegaard trying to get himself on the ball, dropping a little bit deeper.
For a moment there, it looked like almost as if Gabriel had gone to the wide left and Xhaka had gone in as one of the centre halves. Now he's gone back into midfield, and the ball is all the way back with Gabriel. It's going to be a bit of a chess match between these two former colleagues as master and apprentice in Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta. They almost know what each other's thinking. There was a bit of a wobble there from Ramsdale, who was unsure as he played the ball out. There was a route to Zinchenko, but he wasn't confident enough to take it, so he went to Gabriel. That was more difficult for Arsenal to deal with. It's gone out of play and away for a throw on this near side, and the City press worked.
And Ramsdale got to make his mind up earlier, Sam. Even if he doesn't get into Zinchenko, Man City are leaving 2v2 at the back when Martinelli and Jesus goes in there. Just go long. like exactly what Man City did for their goal.
I think it's important they do that, mix it up a little bit. You can play short all you want, but if the opposition knows you're continually playing short, the press will get more and more aggressive. If you mix it up a little bit and turn them round on occasion, all of a sudden the press isn't as aggressive.
15 minutes gone, breathless minutes have ticked away in this beautiful Manchester evening, and it's Manchester City 1, Arsenal 0 on Talksport, with Arsenal looking to try and win the title for the first time since 2003-04. The Invincibles, Kolo Touré was in the team and won the title with City as well, and he said yesterday morning, it's money time now. It's where Michael Jordan makes the difference. Who will be that superstar for City or Arsenal tonight? Well, Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland have already combined for a goal. Akanji's charging forward now, running for a tight gap into opposition territory, plays it against the defender, a little push in the back possibly in the right full-back position, and that's going to be a free kick to Arsenal right on the goal line, wide on the right-hand side, but they're taking the game to Arsenal.
That was a really good play from Thomas Partey, because he made sure that he tracked the run of Akanji, just got his body across him that time, and on first looks it looked like it come off Partey's ankle. Michael Odegaard given the free kick.
Nottingham Forest 0, Brighton 1. They're just approaching half-time at the City Ground. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. And here it's Manchester City 1, Arsenal 0. Sheffield United trying to win promotion to the Premier League. They'll need a victory tonight over West Brom in order to guarantee promotion this evening. They need 3 points from the next 3 games in order to come back up into the top flight. 14 minutes gone there, it's still goalless. We played 16 here. The ball's been kicked long this time by Ramsdale out to the far side. It's floated out of play in the right wing position, and it's out for a throw-in to Manchester City. Pep's calmed down a little bit now.
I think he's just sat down a little chamomile tea just to calm that heart rate down a bit.
I think where his frustration comes from, you can tell that they would have worked on things coming into this game, and if they don't get it right on the pitch, his reaction says, look, you should be doing the opposite to what you've just done.
De Bruyne gets it wide right, infield it goes, collected by Stones, a few steps in front of the centre circle inside opposition territory, goes back to halfway, and it's all the way to Ederson. First blood has gone to Manchester City in the title tussle at the Etihad Stadium. Could be a decisive night tonight. Ball kicked clear by Diaz. It goes straight to Holding, who holds it up, plays it to the wide right position, back into Gabriel, and then all the way back to Ramsdale. Ramsdale takes a touch to his right hand side, then kicks clear over halfway, high into the evening sky. Always going to be difficult for an Arsenal forward to get on the end of that, but there's a spring in the step of Jesus as he launches himself to flick it on, but no one coming in behind it to get on top of the flick on.
They're looking a slick outfit, City, at the moment, and what they do with and without the ball at the moment looks very, very good.
Well, there was a swagger about them in that Bayern Munich game, the first leg. We were here for that, Stuart, and I think there was a muscularity, a physicality to them, but combined with the brawn was brains. And the way that they operated that night gave me an indication that they mean serious business, and they certainly did, and they mean it here.
Do you know what they've got, Sam? They've got an authority when they're in possession. Every single player in possession is comfortable on the ball. Arsenal are trying to press. Arsenal are a bit erratic in possession. You know, when you've got to calm yourselves down, where when it comes to Man City players, if it comes to John Stones, if it comes to Akanji, they know exactly what to do. He's looking at Kevin De Bruyne as well. He's got that freedom just to sort of drift across the front line. He's going into like the number 10 position. Now he's gone into the inside left position. So their movement of Man City is very fluid.
Yeah, they're in great shape right now. Only Ake is missing from their squad. They have been playing excellent football and racking up results as well. There's been a goal at the City Ground. Talksport's Jeff Peters.
It's Nottingham Forest 1, Brighton 1. Forest equalising on the stroke of half-time. I'm pretty sure it'll go down as a gross own goal. Shot came in from the left-hand side, deflected past Steele. Buonanotte on his full Premier League debut gave Brighton the lead after Johnson missed an early penalty for the home side. Forest 1, Brighton 1.
Cheers, Jeff. Thank you very much. Big at the bottom of the table, especially with the result last night. That's available on the Talksport app if you want to listen to it. All the games tonight available. If you download the Talksport app, you can switch between all of the matches. They're on the app. Talksport 2 have got a commentary between West Ham and Liverpool. We're, of course, here live on Talksport tonight. So just download the app. You'll have access to everything. And tomorrow night's pretty busy as well, so you may well require it for that. Right now, it's 1-0 to Manchester City. There's a foul on halfway by Holding. And he's got to be very careful Rob Holding. He got sucked out of position for the goal. He's got sucked in on halfway there. He was late with his challenge. That's a free kick.
Yep, he's got too tight again. And it's a great little nutmeg from Kevin De Bruyne as well, as he just flicks it through his legs with his right foot, tries to go round him. As you said, I think Rob Holding's, that's his last foul, Sam. Next foul, he'll be booked. He'll put himself under pressure. And Man City, Pearce, are just so good of bypassing the press, aren't they? Whether they're long, whether they go into feet. Both centre halves are comfortable coming out with the ball. It's all 1 and 2 touch.
Foul by Thomas Partey this time on Rodri. Rodri gets crunched. I don't think Rodri's too worried about that. He just pushes everybody out of the way and says, come on, let's crack on here. Did an interview last week where he said that he has a dream of being the best in the world. He thinks he's different to some of the other holding midfield players that play in his position. He wants to be the very best. He holds himself to that sort of standard. He's just played the ball out on the near side.
Get him off.
It's gone straight out of play.
Is that the commentator's curse, Sam?
Yeah. I was just telling you what he said.
I think when you look in this stadium, the powder keg of emotions with both sets of fans, the excitement of us working on it, the coolest man's got to be is Michael Oliver. You know, the pressure he's under dealing with a game of this magnitude.
Haaland flicks it on into the path of Grealish, away by Holding, who was born in Stalybridge, brought up in Greater Manchester, played for Bury on loan, played for Bolton Wanderers prior to moving south. Here is Silva, wrong side of Zinchenko into the area, left-footed shot through the legs of the defender straight into the arms of Ramsdale. Easy save down low to his right-hand side, but it was a little bit too easy for Bernardo Silva to wander into an advanced position and get his shot away through Gabriel's legs.
Another mistake by Zinchenko. Looks like he had a crash helmet on. He's tried to head the ball forward. He's headed it backwards. That's why Bernardo Silva got onto it. And I was looking, Sam, thinking Zinchenko might bund him over from behind. And to be fair, he slowed down his run. Bernardo Silva got his shot of his left foot. Easy save for Ramsdale down to his right hand side.
Just looking there, Diaz there once again stepping in on Odegaard, and when he steps in, Arsenal have got to get someone in the space he vacates.
Well, they went a little bit longer again, Ramsdale kicking it through the middle, and although it didn't come off perfectly for them, Xhaka was fouled by Rodri, and he's picked up a free kick about 6 yards in front of the centre circle in an advanced position for Arsenal. The Arsenal fans, 3,000 of them away to our right hand side. Over in the south stand, in the top, middle and bottom of the south stand, are hoping to see Xhaka strike it lucky here. 1-0 to Manchester City. You're listening to Talksport. 22 and a half minutes gone. And Jesus, Martinelli, Gabriel, Holding, Partey, all lurking with intent on the edge of the area. Haaland's just gone down after a little push. The referee has decided to hold things off, and he's just calling temperatures down. Diaz is trying to get the line set for Manchester City. He thinks they were dropping too deep, and he's now trying to pull them up to 5-6 yards outside the penalty area before this free kick is taken.
Sam, Haaland is a 6'5" man beast, and he's just got a slight brush in his back from Gabriel, and he's fallen to like he's been hit on the top there with a lift.
Xhaka sends the ball down the right-hand side, header by Gabriel, goes wide of the left-hand upright. I think we don't call him man-beast, we say he's cyborg masking as human.
Oh, right,
I think that's currently the doctrine. Goal at Stamford Bridge, Joe Shannon.
Chelsea 0, Brentford 1. Brentford corner deflected in off Cesar Azpilicueta for an own goal. Chelsea 0, Brentford 1.
Of course it is. Thanks, Joe. Thank you very much. Back with you throughout the course of the evening. If you want to depress yourself, that commentary is also available on the Talksport app, as all the other four are. Yes, maybe just me. Ball breaks down halfway through the middle of the Manchester City half. The ball breaks into the path of Gabriel Jesus, worked wide to Saka, goes back to halfway, and it's collected by Rob Holding into Zinchenko. A bit more possession of the ball, but Manchester City can play this game at a different pace after taking the lead inside 7 minutes. The ball played back towards halfway. Gabriel has it now. It's often under the radar because the focus is on the title, understandably, but Arsenal actually will confirm a top 4 finish with a win tonight, or if Brighton fail to win at Nottingham Forest. They haven't played in the Champions League since 2016-17, so that will be a step in the right direction. But what they really want is their hands on that big trophy. Here is Odegaard sweeping the ball into Zinchenko. They're behind again here, as they were on Friday night, though. Onto Martinelli in the wide left position. Back to Zinchenko, level with the edge of the area. He's tracked by Haaland, who's getting back and doing his defensive duties. Lovely little swirl and push into Xhaka's path, but Walker is alert to the danger. Diaz came across, and then Rodri is crunched by the combination of Martinelli and Xhaka, and Martinelli has been adjudged to have fouled Rodri, and it's a free kick to Manchester City on the edge of their own box.
Sam, you know what Man City do well? There's not one lazy player in their team. When Martinelli had the ball up on his left-hand side, he wants to go one against Kyle Walker. Bernardo Silva just gets back and he makes sure that he's only 2 or 3 yards away from Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker has got enough pace when he goes down the line. If he checks inside, he's going on to Bernardo Silva and end up giving the ball away.
Sam, just going to expand on that situation with Diaz stepping in. Manchester City have basically, out of possession, got a back 4 in place. If Odegaard moves his position instead of...
Brilliant ball by Haaland through the middle of the pitch, and charging through it is Kevin De Bruyne. He's taking on Gabriel. He goes one way, goes the other way, shoots, it's blocked, it comes back to him, and it's half cleared. Gundogan tries to win it, Partey gets it clear. Oh my word, that Arsenal defence parted like the Red Sea as Kevin De Bruyne went charging through the middle of the park. A little touch round the corner from Haaland once again, and De Bruyne was away. Look at Rob Holding getting in towards the centre, leaving a massive gap in behind, and went charging through that gap. The Belgian dancing his feet past 2 Arsenal defenders, and Ben White luckily got back to block the shot.
Sam, someone's got to tell Rob Holding, if you're not sure, you just stay level with Gabriel and don't leave that massive space on that right hand side. He goes into no man's land. Kevin De Bruyne's through. Actually, I think he should have got his shot away a little bit earlier. To be fair to Ben White, fantastic covering tackle. You've got to make sure that you no lost causes. But Rob Holding has got to make sure that he just stays behind Gabriel, stays alongside Gabriel.
Just looking at Ruben Diaz, who now is midway inside the Arsenal half of the field, just keeping tabs on Odegaard. It's almost like he's man-marking him, old school style. Rodri has it after Manchester City win the ball back inside Arsenal territory. Turn around the corner by De Bruyne into the right wing position, where it's picked up by Bernardo Silva. Back to De Bruyne, first time cross into the box, looking for Bernardo Silva. It's headed away by Partey, who got back to help out his defence. Diaz sends it back forward again, but then it's picked up by Xhaka. He's looking for Saka, and Saka is running away down the right side. Diaz is scampering back to get alongside him. Saka runs into the penalty area. He needs support. He comes back in, but Jack Grealish is there to come back, cover, help, double up, and nick the ball for Manchester City. Given away casually though by Diaz. Odegaard's won it back again over on the far side, the right. 27 gone. Talksport 1-0 City. Poor ball by Odegaard. Tried to put it through the eye of the needle. That eye closed very quickly, and City have got it back again. De Bruyne in the centre circle. Haaland's charging through the middle. He's got only Holding to beat. He moves into the penalty area. Zinchenko comes across. Haaland beats them both. Great save by Ramsdale. Didn't catch it properly. Haaland didn't get any venom in the shot. He scuffed it really, but it bobbled towards Ramsdale, who had to get back, and he had to make the save.
Haaland, I think he's odds on to score there, Sam. He's just coming in from that right hand position, just leans his body to the right hand side, gets his left foot, as you said. I think he hit it with his studs. In the end, it was a real good save from Ramsdale.
The understanding between De Bruyne and Haaland is absolutely sensational. Every time they get it, they go straight for the heart of the Arsenal back line, and it's a knife cutting through butter at the moment.
Talksport taking you to the big matches across the globe. Nottingham Forest 1, Brighton 1 is half-time at this moment in time. Chelsea 0, Brentford 1, West Ham 1, Liverpool 1 is on Talksport 2. All the games available on the Talksport app tonight. Download our app. You can flick between the 2 stations. You can download the Virgin Radio app as well. You'll get Chris Evans in the morning on breakfast, Graham Norton at the weekend, and there's a fantastic interview on the app between Chris Evans and Bono from U2 talking about the new album. It's absolutely sensational. Give it a listen if you can. Bono talking to Chris Evans. Terrific. It's a beautiful day so far for Manchester City. They lead by a goal to 0. And the ball is back with Ederson away to our left-hand side. Arsenal's form has been good. Yes, they dropped points at West Ham and Liverpool and at home to Saints, but they are 10 games unbeaten in the Premier League. And Arsenal have won 16 points from losing positions in the Premier League this season. Only Crystal Palace have won more.
So I'm just looking at the position of Rob Holding. Arsenal got the press on. Thomas Partey's looking over his shoulder just seeing where Kevin De Bruyne is. And all of a sudden, Rob Holding, at that stage, he was 6 yards in front of Erling Haaland. Worst ways out, he needs to be to the side of him, because if it goes into De Bruyne, he turns, Haaland's in on goal.
Not the recipe for success, you wouldn't have thought. Perry Groves, former Arsenal winger, is alongside us in the commentary box with Stuart Pearce, who played and managed Manchester City. The ball is with Ruben Diaz, just in front of the 18-yard box, away to our left-hand side. It goes back to Ederson, the goalkeeper, takes a couple of steps towards the penalty spot. Jesus went to try and press him, but Ederson's so comfortable with the ball at his feet. Plays it out, and then John Stone strides down the right side, over halfway, onto Walker, who moves into an advanced position. Tries to chip inside past Martinelli. Referee says that we're coming together, play on. Still City have the ball in an advanced area, high up the pitch in opposition territory. It's with Gundogan down the right, moves towards the right touchline before releasing Walker. It goes back to Bernardo Silva again, then infield to Gundogan. Gundogan out to De Bruyne, and the City fans appreciative of the way that they build the play and switch and move, and everybody gets involved. It's so versatile, it's so fluid, it's so attractive on the eye, it's so commanding, and they are bossing this game. The lead is slender, but their authority is great.
It's a masterclass at the moment, and I'm just thinking of a way Arsenal can get Odegaard in the game and cause City a problem. At the moment, there's a back four for City, and on the same line as them are 4 Arsenal players. What Odegaard's got to do is move and get on the same line as Jesus, basically. So when you draw a line down the pitch...
Here's Haaland inside the area, left-footed shot from an impossible angle, and he thunders it towards the near post, and he's beaten away by Ramsdale.
Piercy, I'm looking at Thomas Partey as well. He's getting caught in between because he's looking to go and join in the press, and then there's even that massive hole behind him. I'd rather he just sat there. I'd rather he just sat there and occupied that space in front of Erling Haaland, because every time it goes into De Bruyne or it goes into Rodri, they get turned, and there's a probably 15-20 yards in front of Erling Haaland where Man City can just roll it into.
Well, they've got 2 problems at the moment. A, how to block things up, as you rightly say, in front of the 2 central defenders. The second side of that is, how do they lay a glove on Manchester City and get Odegaard, who's probably their most technical player in that front 4 line, on the ball?
Defence has been Arsenal's undoing in the last few games. There's no doubt about that. Maybe the midfield blend isn't completely right. Look how far high up the pitch Thomas Partey is right now. You know, it's a lack of protection that they have been facing. They've faced 45 shots in the last 3 games, an average of 15 per game. They only faced 41 in their previous 6 matches. Here is Partey, up into Jesus, backing in towards the edge of the D. He tries to twirl past 1, 2, then a third Manchester City body, Rodri, and then it's gone behind and away rather limply for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Good endeavour that from Gabriel Jesus. It's half-time somewhere in the Premier League. It's at West Ham, where Ian Abrahams has seen a couple of goals.
West Ham 1, Liverpool 1, 2 goals in 6 minutes. Lucas Paqueta from 22 yards put the Hammers ahead. Cody Gakpo equalised from distance via the post for Liverpool. Both could have scored more. It's live on Talksport 2. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1.
All the games available on the Talksport app. Just download it, flick between the 2. You're listening to Manchester City 1, Arsenal 0 on Talksport with Now Sports. And don't forget that with Now Sports, you can stream the Premier League live without a contract. $11.99. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via the internet. Terms apply. Ball went out from the back from Ederson, straight up towards Haaland again.
Sam, what's happened is, because Thomas Partey is so far up the pitch, when they go long, that instance there, Kevin De Bruyne just flicked it on with his head. It goes into Erling Haaland. He spins, and all of a sudden they're 2v2 because Gabriel has actually come in far too far. So at the moment, it's a masterclass, but it is the Sorcerers against Apprentice at the moment, and Arsenal are getting just stuck in between whether they want to go a full press or they just want to drop off another 10 yards. I'd rather see Thomas Partey. We're seeing now, look, Arsenal got the press on. They bypassed the press, which they've done brilliantly, Man City. Then you're left with a 4v4.
Yeah, I mean, you're just looking at the Arsenal fans here, and they know that they're being given a lesson in this game so far. 4 City players up on the halfway line as they play out from the back, but it's Zinchenko who wins it. Then Martinelli from deep tries to wriggle forward into Ødegaard now. Spreads it to the wide right position. Bukayo Saka to Ødegaard, right edge of the area, comes to Thomas Partey, sweeps it goalwards, it's not too far away. Ederson goes diving to his left, it goes behind. We'll go up to half-time at Stamford Bridge, and Joe Shannon.
Chelsea 0, Brentford 1. Azpilicueta's own goal for Brentford in a poor first half. Chelsea no cutting edge again. Boos from the home fans at half-time. Chelsea 0, Brentford 1.
I think they've scored one goal in about 7 years, Chelsea, haven't they? And that was a scuffed effort from Conor Gallagher that hit Lewis Dunk and went into the net the other week. Yes, they've lacked a little bit of goal threat for a while. Brentford, who've had a bit of a tough time themselves, actually. They've not picked up a win in 6 games, but they're in front away at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Brentford 1. Here's Stuart Pearce.
Just to follow on from Perry's point then, you cannot afford not to leave 4-on-4 or 3-on-3 on the halfway line if you want to go and press.
Because look where Rob Holding is.
I take your point.
Half. He's right up in with his midfield players.
Manchester City go 3-on-3.
Here they go down the left-hand side as they break the press and win the ball. Grealish has found Haaland, and through the right-hand side is Bernardo Silva, but Haaland's going to go on his own. He gets to the left edge of the penalty area and he shoots wide. Well, once again that Arsenal defence were cut open so easily. It was like a hot knife through butter. Holding was caught up in the right wing position over on the far side. That left 3-on-3 and they went through the gears. Haaland isolated Gabriel, got the ball onto his left foot inside the D and then drove it towards goal, and it was a whisker away. I think it may even have clipped the outside of the post.
Just going back to Perry's point there, Perry wants Partey to come back and make a 5 versus 4. If you're going to do that, you'll never get a front press. So you're going to have to just come back to the halfway line, the whole team. That's the option.
The thing is, that's what I'm saying, they're getting stuck in between, because Rob Holding's gone alongside his midfield players. Then you leave a massive hole for Haaland to go 1v1 with Gabriel.
But the bottom line in modern day football, if you're going to go and press the opposition, you've got to go a full court press. If you don't, and you want an extra man back on the halfway line when the goal is taking a goal kick, then you're never going to win the ball off the. You just will come back the halfway line as a group.
But I don't want my centre half, the one going in and trying to press Kevin De Bruyne. I want my centre half just staying alongside his other centre half.
I mean, Arsenal are just in that unenviable position. They're a goal down. They've got to try and get a foothold in the game. And by dropping off to the halfway line, you're not going to do that, I'm afraid, at this stage.
Here is Haaland fighting with Partey as he lays the ball off to Kevin De Bruyne. Then there is a whistle blown. The referee is saying there's a head injury, so he's stopped the game as a result of that. Jack Grealish is saying, don't talk nonsense. The referee is saying, does the trainer want to come on and have a look at Partey to make sure he's okay? Jack Grealish is going head-to-head with Granit Xhaka, who has to be careful. He was sent off here in November 2021. There's a bit of a drinks break and a slight pause in play. We've played 38 minutes. It's been wild. It's been absolutely sensational. Manchester City giving Arsenal a masterclass, and at the moment, Arsenal can't deal with them.
The biggest positive for Arsenal at the moment, Sam, is 1-0. It could be 3 or 4, because Erling Haaland's missed a couple of chances. Normally, you put your life on it that he'd score, because both of them with his left foot. One of them was a decent save from Aaron Ramsdale down to his right-hand side. The other one, he's missed the target completely. So Arsenal are just hanging on by their fingertips here.
Well, I mean, go back to what's happened in the game so far. This is what we've had. The penalty shout in the first couple of minutes with Partey and De Bruyne. The goal from Kevin De Bruyne. The Kevin De Bruyne miss when 1-on-1, when he should have taken his shot earlier. The Haaland scuff shot, which Ramsdale saved. And then the Haaland effort where he isolates Gabriel, hits it left-footed, drives it wide of the post. I mean, that's 5 great chances. But it's only 1-0. And why it's only 1-0, anything can happen. Here's Gundogan down the left side, winning the ball on the halfway line, then charging forward. He's in from the touchline and plays it to Grealish, who's inside the box, on the left side of the 6-yard box. Good tackle that by Holding. Managed to get it away. It's then played against Grealish, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. That was a little bit better from Arsenal defensively.
Yeah, Holding made magnificent tackle there. When he started to go with his so-called wrong foot across Grealish, you thought there could be trouble here, but he got it very, very well.
Currently Manchester City 1, Arsenal 0. For the latest odds, head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Manchester City at 11-2 on. Arsenal are 18-1 to go on and win the game, 5-1 the draw. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org. Goal kick away to our right. Ramsdale takes it, hits it high into the air. It goes over the halfway line, and it's Rodri with a header, which is almost like a thunderbolt. He just sort of cracks it with his forehead, and it goes almost towards the far corner. Holding can do nothing apart from put it out of play on the far side and away for a City throw, level with the edge of the penalty area.
Stop smiling, Rob. Holding, stop smiling and laughing.
That's I don't know. Did you articulate that on air earlier on? Because you did say it to us, didn't you?
Yeah. I don't want to see him as centre half smiling and laughing, especially he's just been given the run around by Erling Haaland.
I think there's half a nervousness in that. I really do.
He's
under that much pressure at the moment.
Gundogan wriggling away from Partey into the area. Haaland with a shot, saved down low by the goalkeeper, and then kicked clear by Gabriel. How on earth have they found Haaland in that particular zone? Unmarked again. Back to Rodri, who's 10 yards short of the 18-yard box. Plays it left to Akanji, and then it's straight out of play over on the far side and away for a throw-in. You're listening to Talksport.
Sam, we've been treated to an absolute masterclass by Manchester City, but from Arsenal's point of view, and the plus that they're going to have if they go down the tunnel in 5 minutes' time, they're only 1-0 down and still in the game. How? I'm not sure, but they are.
How did Gundogan get down the side in order to pull that cross back?
I think it's Ben White was too far away, again from Rob Holding. There's too many holes that are appearing when Arsenal try and defend. And even when it goes on that Man City's left-hand side, if Ben White's going to press, then Rob Holding's got to sort of shuffle across. It just, Arsenal all over the place at the moment. They're at 6s and 7s everywhere.
Well, Arsenal aren't as experienced as Manchester City. They're young. Their average age is the youngest starting 11 in the Premier League this season. No team with the youngest starting 11 across a full Premier League season has ever won the title. And at the moment, they look second best to this Manchester City team, who lead by a goal to nil, courtesy of a goal from Kevin De Bruyne after 7 minutes. It's 1-0. You're listening to Talk Sport. Ball is on the edge of the penalty area away to our left that City are defending. Grealish has just stumbled slightly, given the ball away to Ben White. It's been picked up by Ødegaard, who needs a bit of support here. Zinchenko provides it. This might be a chance right at the end of the first half. Into the area looking for Saka. It's guided away brilliantly by the defence. I think it was Akanji who got the first touch. There was a clash with Ruben Diaz as well, and the ball goes out and away for a corner on the far side.
It's a great ball from Zinchenko, just whipping it in with his left foot into a dangerous area. But Jesus and Bukayo Saka coming in from the right wing. Just a little push from Akanji. Diaz gets his head to it first. Corner for Arsenal over on their right-hand side.
Got to make the most of this.
On another day, I think Arsenal will be appealing for a push on Saka there, actually.
Well, Akanji did use his sort of arms, didn't he, to push into the back of Bukayo Saka, who's trotting back into the 18-yard box. Perry Groves sitting there thinking, not even I'm that optimistic.
No. Not enough for me, to be fair. I think it was Akanji just had a little stumble.
61% possession for Manchester City, 39 for Arsenal in the opening 42 minutes of the game, only 43 minutes of the game. It's been brilliant. What a pleasure it is to be here. Corner kick far side, Saka to take it. Spine-tingling atmosphere at the Etihad Stadium. Left-footed ball in towards the near post. Goalkeeper comes and punches well, gets good distance of it, and out towards the far side. Ødegaard picks it up, back in by Saka. It's a deep delivery to no one in particular. Walker's going to leave that. Yeah, honestly, he did it on purpose. Didn't just go over his head. And it goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. It's 1-0, and it's been a really good first half for Pep Guardiola. Mikel Arteta's got to come up with something at the break. What can he possibly do?
I think he's, as I said before, he's got to say to Rob Holding, don't follow Kevin De Bruyne in there, don't follow Erling Haaland in there, because that's exactly what they want you to do.
Would you be tempted to make any changes at half-time, or does that signal panic?
Yeah, actually, if you looked on the touchline with the two managers, you'd think it was Pep Guardiola's team that were struggling, in possession and not creating any chances. Mikel Arteta has been fairly calm.
I think Arsenal will go back in the dressing room almost shell-shocked by this performance. Make no mistake that they've been outplayed, outthought. you know, everything about the game, the way City have played it, the way they've cut through them defensively, how they've pressed from the front has been better than Arsenal. But as I say, it's strange football. You're still in the game. It's only 1-0 at present.
Stones up to De Bruyne, who tries to help it on. Haaland gets hold of it. The ball falls back to him after a foul by Partey, who's going to give away a free kick here, about 12 yards outside the penalty area. And it was untidy again from Arsenal as that ball came in. Haaland seemed to whack Holding in the face. The referee didn't say anything about that, but then there was a collision between Partey and Haaland. He's just trying to win a ball he's never going to get hold of there, Thomas Partey.
He's the wrong side. Haaland as well. When Haaland gets up, he's just got that sort of wry grin on his face, isn't he, saying, I'm really enjoying myself here. No,
2 minutes of added time.
He can have a wry grin on himself because he's got Gabriel and Holding in his pocket. Do you know what I mean? He's actually enjoying himself, and the Man City players have enjoyed themselves because it has been a masterclass.
So far,
it's been a masterclass in possession, a masterclass in creating chances. The only thing that hasn't been a masterclass, Sam, unusual for Man City, is their finishing.
It's been a delight to watch so far, and there has been already one goal for Manchester City. They're trying to craft another one before half-time. This free kick taking place 12 yards outside the penalty area. De Bruyne swings it in towards the far post. Stones is there with a header. Offside flag is up against him. The City go to celebrate, and then their celebrations are curtailed. Stones rising highest at the back post, may have just gone a shade early. It's going to go to VAR.
Yeah, it was such a clear header. Yeah,
it's offside.
Well offside.
Well, it's been entertaining fare for the Manchester City fans, even if they've only got one goal. Noel Gallagher's here today. Patrick Vieira, who's got a foot in both camps, is here today. Ted Lasso is here today. The actor Jason Sudeikis, who is going to be on the Chris Evans Breakfast Show on Friday morning.
Has he got a chance at the Chelsea job? He's got to be in the running, hasn't he?
You're being a little bit unfair there, aren't you?
I've heard he's talking to Watford at the moment.
We've all had a chat with Watford. Aubameyang apparently has come on for Chelsea. That's available on the Talksport app. They're currently behind against Brentford. VAR is checking this disallowed goal. I mean, is that foot?
That is tight.
Is that foot from Ben White just narrowly ahead of John Stones?
Do you know what, Sam? From the angle that we've got, that looks like that he's onside.
Narrowly onside from the angle that we've got, but then we just saw another angle where we thought he was narrowly offside. So let's wait for the lines to be drawn. Nervous tension. This could be a massive moment in the title race, because if this goal is given, this could be almost unassailable for Arsenal to chase. I think he's going to be onside here. They're going to give the goal, and Manchester City are going to go in at half-time leading by 2 goals to 0. Let's see. Michael Oliver blows his whistle. He draws the square. It's a goal for Manchester City. A second goal in the first half. Pep Guardiola turns and celebrates to the heavens. John Stones scores, and Manchester City lead by 2 goals to 0 on what could be a decisive night at the top of the Premier League. They had to wait a hell of a long time, but John Stones now takes the acclaim, and Manchester City will go in at the break against Arsenal, leading by 2 goals to 0.
Sam, it was a fantastic header from John Stones, great ball in from Kevin De Bruyne. I'm just looking at Gabriel, he's just let him run. He's behind him, he's just let him run, he's completely unmarked, and you have to say, on the balance of play, Sam, 2-0 is the least that Man City deserve. And when the goal was given, you'd have thought Man City had just won the Champions League, because Bernardo Silva run down the right wing to celebrate with the fans. Akanji jumped onto John Stones. Kyle Walker was running around like a chicken. That just shows you how revved up Man City have been for this game, because you'd have thought they'd just won the Champions League.
And they've been brilliant. They're revved up over on the far side because it's all spilled over. Ben White's gone down, Saka's getting involved, Jack Grealish has gone over there. There's a bit of pushing and shoving going on down by the corner flag. Ian Husson is the assistant who's on the scene trying to deal with the situation. Rodri is over there too. Saka's not happy at all. Emotions running high on what is a pivotal night. It feels like a defining night, and some of Manchester City's players left you open-mouthed in that first half, and certainly Arsenal have got a hell of a lot of work to do. There's a little kick out there by Diaz, possibly, as White went away from a tussle in the corner flag. I think the foul had already been given.
You know, Ben White has kicked Diaz, and all it is just a little flick from Ruben Diaz. He's just caught Ben White with probably his little toe, and again Ben White's that's embarrassing. Honestly, that is embarrassing.
Well, there's going to be a yellow card here, and it's going to be for Ruben Diaz. A yellow card, the first of the game, and I think the free kick is going to be given to Manchester City because that was the initial offence over on the far side, but Diaz has now been booked. İlkay Gündoğan is there trying to plead his teammates' innocence, but the yellow card has been dished out. It's 2-0 to Manchester City. That's the only blemish on their copybook so far. There's a few blemishes on the Arsenal blueprint, the way they've approached the game, and Mikel Arteta has got a few deeper crevices in that forehead as we approach half-time. You've been a manager, you've been in the dressing room, you know when results aren't going your way, big games aren't going your way. How does it feel right at this moment in time, very quickly?
Sam, they've got to make changes of some description. Sometimes you walk in there, even if you think things don't have to change, I would say Arteta's going to have to change something just to give to his team to hang on to.
Arsenal knew the stakes were high. They had to win to have the destination of the title in their own hands, but those title hopes have been fading fast over the last 2 weeks, and City are accelerating their downfall. 2 goals in the first half, De Bruyne and Stones with them. They could have had more. It means that City lead at the break and are turning the tide in the title race and turning up the talk of the treble. At half-time, City 2, Arsenal 0.
Big City fan voice of Gogglebox, Craig Cash, just walked past us and said it should have been 5, and he's probably right, as well as Perry Grove said in commentary. The finishing hasn't been great from Manchester City, but they're 2 up and in control. Elsewhere, Forest 1, Brighton 1, Chelsea 0, Brentford 1, West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. You can get all these games on the Talksport network. Just go to the Talksport app, go to live games, it'll navigate you to where you need to be. And half-time in the Championship, Sheffield United 0, West Brom 0. Sheffield United trying to secure promotion this evening. But I just watched Mikel Arteta basically throughout the course of the first half, Perry Groves, and at half-time as well. For a lot of that first half, Pep's been Arteta, as in jumping around, leaping around, animated. Mikel Arteta has basically just stood there with his hands in his pockets, when actually this is the game where he needs to be animated and he needs to be changing things. They could be 5 or 6-0 down by now. They're lucky it's only 2, but they're probably out of the game. So why hasn't he done anything, Arteta?
I've got to be honest, I think they're shell-shocked. I think just looking at the Arsenal players, obviously it's been well documented, it's the youngest team in the Premier League. So there's no leaders there, there's nobody. They haven't ever been in this situation in their careers before. They're learning their trade. You know, when people say, oh, they've bottled it, they're not bottled it, they've just not been in this position before, and then you learn from your mistakes. So I'm looking at this Arsenal team at the moment. Gabriel should be saying to Rob Holding, just stay with me for like 10-15 minutes. Don't bother, because at least then there's no holes that appear in. What's happening is Thomas Partey's playing too far up the pitch, then they bypass him, it goes into Kevin De Bruyne, he gets turned or he flicks it on, it goes. It's not as if it's a secret that the link-up play between Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland, that no one's seen it before. So as you said, I'm looking at Mikel Arteta now. Is he going to put Jorginho on to try and, you know, get control of the ball? Because I can't see Man City just saying, all right, we're 2-0 up now, you know, we're going to sort of hold what we've got. They're still going to come out on the front foot. So it has been, I have to say, it pains me to say it, but it has been a masterclass from Man City. On the ball, off the ball, in possession, the fluidity of their movement, with De Bruyne going across the front line, then Jack Grealish comes in off the left flank, then Bernardo Silva goes in, then Akanji's very comfortable on the ball, Rodri will get himself turned. So all over the pitch, Man City have won their individual battles everywhere on that pitch. There's not one Arsenal player can say, actually, no, I've got the better of my opponent. So it's a big half-time team talk for Mikel Arteta. And as we said in commentary, I thought if we got in at 1-0 down, then it'd be a major result, because that could have been 5, easily could have been 5.
Well, it was a set-piece goal conceded yet again by Arsenal. You know, up until the end of January, first 16 league games of the season, Arsenal had not conceded a goal from a set play. James Tarkowski headed the winner at Everton from a corner, and all of a sudden the world has caved in on Arsenal's defence and they can't defend set pieces. Another one there. Quite why they were arguing with the referee after VAR had decided it was onside, I have no idea. But Stuart Pearce, put yourself in Mikel Arteta's shoes. What can he say? What can he do at half-time?
I think sometimes you go down the dressing room, you've got to look and say, have we got improvement from the bench? that is a question. Sometimes you have to make a finite change just to say to the players, look, here's the new game plan, just to convince them. Even if in your heart of hearts it doesn't convince you as a manager, you have to do it for the players. Now, whether they'll do that, I think Manchester City are that good. They get you into conundrums. Like Perry was talking about, dropping Partey off to shield the front two, and that's brilliant. But if you're going to do that, there's no point pressing, because Manchester City can kill you with even numbers. If you give them an extra outfield player in this half of the pitch to play out, they'll kill you. And they've got a goalkeeper that's as good as any outfield player. So they're 2 players better than you at that end of the pitch. If you're going to drop Partey off, drop everyone off. But they were 1-0 down at the time. So when you play Man City, they starve you with the ball that much. I've been here with teams and I've been at home with teams, and you think, how do we get a foothold in the game? And the only chance to do it is when the ball goes out of play. When you have to go and swamp them if you can, and take your chance on the back that you're 3-on-3, you're 4-on-4, you get away with it. The sad thing for Arsenal is Manchester City can deal with 3-on-3. Arsenal can't deal with even numbers at the moment.
It's going to be a fascinating second half. I think it's a big test for Mikel Arteta. He's had a lot of praise this season, and rightly so as well, and that won't go away just because of tonight or the fact that they may not win the title come the end of the season. But in terms of in-game management, I think this is a massive test of what he's got in his locker. It is Manchester City 2, Arsenal 0 at half-time, live and exclusive and only on Talksport here at the Etihad. Let's go to Bramall Lane in the Championship and round up the first 45 with Talksport's Alan Biggs.
It's Sheffield United 0, West Bromwich Albion 0, and considering the occasion, or maybe because of the occasion, it's been a cagey and low-key first half. A laboured Sheffield United playing under the weight of being so close to promotion, playing in treacle really. West Brom showing more freedom, coming out, bit of adventure, and also the main talking point of the half really. Could they have had a penalty quite early in the game? Max Lowe fouled Brandon Thomas Asante. Looked just on the corner of the penalty area, the edge of the area. Replay suggested the foul took place right on the line, and the line is part of the penalty area. So Sheffield United may have got away with one there in West Brom, just being awarded a free kick. Certainly Albion the more dangerous. Carlon Grant had an early chance at the far post, but he put wide from Jed Wallace's cross. Wallace looking a threat down the right hand side, and also Grant forced a save following a free kick from Wes Foderingham at the other end. Only Jack Robinson really has required any sort of intervention from Alex Palmer in the West Brom goal, and even that was a routine save. At half time at Bramall Lane, very tense, very edgy, certainly as far as the Blades are concerned. Sheffield United 0, West Bromwich Albion 0.
We've got a goal in the second half at the London Stadium. Ian Abrahams.
55 gone, West Ham 2, Liverpool 1. The Hammers back in front thanks to Jarrod Bowen. Another really good strike from the guy who's going to become a father in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Down the right hand side, he picked his moment to fire past Alisson. Lucas Paqueta given West Ham the lead. Cody Gakpo had equalised, but now Jarrod Bowen has fired West Ham back in front. A victory here, and surely West Ham would definitely be safe for next season. West Ham 2, Liverpool 1. Adrian, it's live on Talksport 2.
The other 2 games are on the Talksport app. Forest 1, Brighton 1 and Chelsea 0, Brentford's 1. You're listening to Kickoff live on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, be gambleaware.org. And there's a goal at the City Ground. Jeff Peters.
It's Nottingham Forest 2, Brighton 1. They've turned it around here. It's Danilo who scored it. Brighton gave the ball away. Forest counter-attacked. Awonye was able just to touch the ball into Danilo's path. He raced into the area on his right foot and into the far bottom corner. That could be a massive, massive goal for Nottingham Forest. It could move them out of the relegation zone tonight. Forest 2, Brighton 1.
That could be huge. Let's go back to the London Stadium. What's happened, Ian Abrahams?
West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. Jarrod Bowen's goal cancelled out by offside. VAR getting involved and deciding there was an offside infringement. So we're back to where we were, Adrian. In West Ham 1, Liverpool 1, live on Talksport 2.
Here at the Etihad, Man City have boss possession 60%. They've had 8 efforts on goal to Arsenal's 2. The Gunners none on target. Manchester City 6 on target, and they lead by 2 goals to 0. Arteta, Arsenal, what have you got to save your title hopes in the second half? Live on Talksport.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
At a time when prices just seem to be going up, it's great to know that some prices aren't. In April, we're locking the price of quotes for 6 months. That's right, with a Selco quote lock, quoted prices in April will be held for 6 months. Find stacks of stock and great trade prices at Selco Builders Warehouse and online at selcobw.com. Exclusions apply.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
Please see website for terms and conditions.
And he's barrelled it straight through the midfield into the Village Hotel Pub and Grill fan zone, the home of big screen live football. A long volley over the stadium seats by the giant screens into the left-hand corner of the bar, past a winning lineup of ice-cold beers and a magnificent menu of mouth-watering footy food. Result! Enjoy the perfect big match experience with food, drink and live football at a Village Hotel Pub and Grill fan zone at 33 UK locations. Find your nearest venue and win monthly prizes, including match tickets at villagehotels.com/fanzone. Get in! Conditions apply. 18 plus. Always drink responsibly.
Summer's almost here, and the National Hunt season is about to ride into the sunset. But before it does, there's time for one last party. And given the season Irish horses have had, it's only appropriate that they host the party. Get a £10 free bet when you bet £10 worth of multiples, available this Saturday at Punchestown. With Betfair.
Opt-in required. Free bet valid for 48 hours and racing multiples only. Min combined odds 2.0. Max 1 per day. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Begambleaware.org.
Bing bong. Attentions please. Attentions please. We got big new news. Just Eat now does grocery delivery. No problemo if you forgot the only thing you went in the shop to buy. Want ice cream for breakfast? Caught the cat licking the butter. So, don't cry over spilt milk. Get it delivered to your door from Just Eat instead. Grocery delivery. We got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Only available from participating stores and selected locations. Product subject to availability. Service charge may apply. See justeat.co.uk for more details.
Rodri to De Bruyne. Flicked on to Walker. Goal! No one saw that coming.
Or as we say in Japan, no warutaka wa tsume o kakusu. The smart hawk hides its talents. For a taste beyond expected, Asahi Super Dry, official beer partners of Manchester City. Enjoy responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk.
For all the top Premier League analysis, listen to The Game, the Premier Football podcast from The Times. Every Monday and Thursday, join Hugh Woosencroft and a host of big-name guests for in-depth reaction and opinion on the latest action and the biggest issues in the world of football.
It's a massive goal!
Hear previews of all the upcoming matches and provocative and compelling opinions from some of the finest football writers from The Times and The Sunday Times.
Lovely bit of football!
Listen to The Game on the free Times Radio app or wherever you find your podcasts.
We all fantasize about our perfect home, watching the big game cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Sort your finance first so you can choose a car with confidence. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. Representative APR 19.9%. Car Finance 24/7 is a credit broker, not a lender.
On the app, on DAB, on 1089 and 1053 medium wave, and on your smart speaker.
Tomorrow is Triple Shot 3-game Thursday. Talksport.
Back at the Etihad, where the crowd are noisily talking about what was an exhilarating first half from Manchester City. They lead by 2-0. Could easily have been a lot more than that. And I think the over-celebration, or perceived over-celebration of the VAR award of the second goal was just relief from all the chances they've missed. They've finally doubled their lead and given themselves that cushion going in at half-time, Manchester City. Second half to come live on TalkSport. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Well, Man City are 40-1 on to win. Arsenal 100 to 1. The draw's 25 to 1. Erling Haaland to score next has been price boosted to 11 to 4. Bukayo Saka to score anytime, 10 to 1. He's on pens, remember. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus B. Gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus B. Gambleaware.org.
So I know Forest lead Brighton 2-1. That's live on the Talksport app. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1. West Ham just had a goal ruled out by VAR. That's live on Talksport 2. Also on the app, Chelsea against Brentford. What's happening at Stamford Bridge, Joe Shannon?
We've had 63 minutes. Chelsea 0, Brentford 1. Brentford in front thanks to an own goal in the first half from Cesar Azpilicueta. Chelsea were booed off at half-time, having totally lacked cutting edge. They've been much better in the second half thanks to a double change. Mudryk and Aubameyang onto the field. Chelsea finally creating half chances, but they can't force an equaliser. Chelsea 0, Brentford 1.
Well, remember, tomorrow night, Tottenham against Manchester United is live and exclusive on Talksport. Everton against Newcastle United, live and exclusive on Talksport 2. And Southampton Bournemouth is live and exclusive on the Talksport app, which is free to download. It's easy to use. Get it from where you get your apps and just go to live games at the bottom of the home screen, and that will tell you where you need to go to listen to the game of your choice. Arsenal already out there. City heading out now. It could have been 8-0. Actually, Haaland had 4 chances, one from an acute angle. A lot of good saves from Ramsdale, and after Friday night he needed a good half. He certainly had that. Remember, Partey should have given away a penalty possibly early on in the proceedings as well. But Manchester City leads by 2-0. They're in control. That Gunners half-time team talk crucial. Next goal is crucial. City 2, Arsenal 0, live and exclusive and only on Talksport here at the Etihad, with a man who captained City to promotion, Stuart Pearce, a man who lifted 2 titles with Arsenal, Perry Groves, and Talksport's chief football commentator, Sam Matface.
Adrian, if Arsenal to get back in this game, they'll have to have a shot on target. They haven't done that so far. 45 minutes gone, we're at halfway. No changes for either team at the break. Manchester City have had the upper hand in this game and on Arsenal recently. The Citizens are unbeaten in all 13 Premier League meetings since Pep Guardiola took charge in the summer of 2016. And Mikel Arteta has lost 8 of the 9. Here's De Bruyne early on, getting played down the right-hand side. Air kicks the ball as it's dripped into him by Bernardo Silva. No contact, and it goes behind harmlessly and away to our left-hand side. Not the kind of start that Arsenal wanted. Those would be on the back foot immediately, Perry Groves.
Yeah, just Arsenal just fell asleep. Kevin De Bruyne gets himself in that inside right position, and unusually for him, on the volley, he scuffs it completely.
Ball kick cleared by Ramsdale down the middle of the pitch, away by Stones. Holding forward, but then it's Bernardo Silva on halfway, who dabs it up towards the midpoint of the Arsenal half of the field. De Bruyne gets it back to Diaz. It's tossed down the corner for Grealish to chase. In the left wing position it goes, and a play on this near side. Nottingham Forest lead Brighton by 2-1. Chelsea 0, Brentford 1, West Ham 1, Liverpool 1, Manchester City 2, Arsenal 0 is the latest scoreline here. Ball tossed down the right touchline by Ben White of Arsenal up to Gabriel Jesus, formerly of this parish, who's honestly just stroked by Akanji, and he goes down and wins a free kick on this near side. Pep Guardiola a little bit animated once again on this near side as we have a late number of arrivals coming back from the Tunnel Club and taking their seats in the seats in front of us here. As away to our left, a couple of City substitutes go warming up, including Julian Alvarez. Stuart Pearce is alongside us in the commentary box as well. Ramsdale out of his goal, sends the ball through the middle of the pitch, straight into Martinelli. Martinelli plays it wide, down the right for Saka. Saka now trying to take on Akanji. He goes onto his left foot and comes infield, and then tries to turn it back to the right, but instead gives it to Xhaka. Xhaka plays it wide, Zinchenko inside the area, back to Xhaka, who shoots towards the far corner. First shot on target, and it goes straight down the throat of Ederson. Quick release by him, out towards the near side. City immediately on the attack. Gundogan charging through the centre. It's played towards him, but Gabriel's going to get there first. And, the goalkeeper didn't want to come there, and they were screaming at each other.
I'm not joking. That's nothing to do with the goalkeeper whatsoever. And I saw the same sort of action from Gabriel against West Ham. He's got to deal with that.
Just deal with the ball. They just take control, show your authority. You just got caught in two minds. in the end he got away with it, because as he just rolled it out to the right back position, Odegaard did brilliantly, just slid in, kept it in play. Now Man City got their press on.
Up to Jesus, but won by Diaz, who turns it over in the midpoint of the Arsenal half, and Bernardo Silva wanders forward, tries to release Rodri. It bounces off Xhaka and goes out to a right wing position. Manchester City on the attack, leading by 2-0, down towards the byline. A cross which is deflected behind by Zinchenko, and it's out over on the far side, and it's away for a corner. 2-0 to Manchester City on Talksport. All the games on Talksport this week. Still Sheffield United 0, West Bromwich Albion 0 in the Championship, as Sheffield United go for promotion to the top flight. More substitutes for Arsenal now warming up. Leandro Trossard and Jorginho and Emile Smith-Rowe, the forgotten man, warming up down in front of us as Kevin De Bruyne prepares to take yet another set piece for the home team. He has had a field day so far. Haaland has been brilliant. It's been a complete performance from Manchester City up until this point. Ball delivered towards the far post. Rodri heading the ball towards the edge of the area. It comes back out to Akanji, who turns it round towards Diaz inside the box. It breaks loose, and Partey eventually manages to clear. And now Saka immediately gets it up to Martinelli, but there is Walker on the cover, and he manages to take the ball towards the near touchline. Goal at West Ham in Abrahams.
West Ham 1, Liverpool 2. Corner powerfully headed in by Joel Matip, who was left all alone 6 yards out. Shocking defending. West Ham 1, Liverpool 2. Live on Talksport 2.
Yeah, available via our app, or ask your smart speaker to play Talksport 2. Thomas Partey, Perry Groves pointing out he's a little bit deeper in this second half than he was in the first.
Yep, he's just stayed in that centre circle just to make sure if it comes into De Bruyne or it comes into Holland, he's in play. And I can see he's just looking over his left shoulder to get himself onto Kevin De Bruyne.
Ball has been sent forward by Gundogan, who over the halfway line finds Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva with his shirt looking rather baggy, draped around his waist. He's the smallest player in Manchester City blue, slender but effective, plays it back towards halfway. Rodri, shirt often tucked in at the waist and shorts hoisted up above his waistline, just strolls out through the middle of the Arsenal half, plays it past two players with such elegance and power that it cuts the Arsenal lines in two, and then it goes back to halfway and stones. Rodri, Gundogan, and then all the way back to Diaz. Akanji, who's played pretty much on the left-hand side as left back today, and no one's noticed. I mean, he's just seamlessly moved into this Manchester City lineup. Header away by Holding, stolen in front of Haaland and headed it back towards the Manchester City goal, and Edison's got it back again.
See what Arsenal did there, Sam? They let Man City have it. It's too late now. They went into a solid 4-4-2 and said, right, you can play in front of us. And then Man City end up giving the ball away, and then it goes back to Edison. But that's 49 minutes too late.
Yeah. I remember the only time that they've beaten Manchester City under Mikel Arteta was in an FA Cup semi-final in lockdown, and they did it by not playing football, really. I mean, they just stopped Manchester City playing and hit them on the counter-attack twice.
Yeah, but I think from Arteta's point of view, he obviously knows this team has progressed, since then, and he's come here. He thought we're going to go toe-to-toe with you, and it suited Man City, because in the first half, that's probably Man City's best first half performance of this season.
They were outstanding, and as much as we'll pick holes in Arsenal and how they allowed City to play that way, Stuart, they were absolutely outstanding, Manchester City.
Yeah, as I say, they've just come up against a team that for 45 minutes and probably beyond, if our eyes don't deceive us now, have been absolutely superb and taken football to another level.
Here is Xhaka out towards the far side, messed by Jesus, but taken on by Zinchenko. Zinchenko midway inside opposition territory, now down into the left wing position, trying to take on Walker. Walker's not going to allow him to get away with that. He's faster and stronger and just edges him off the ball and allows it to dribble behind and away for a goal kick away to our right hand side.
Kyle Walker does brilliantly, because obviously he shows him down the line, he knows what to be at the face, but if you look, Sam, Bernardo Silva is again probably 5 yards away. Every time Arsenal get into wide positions, whether it's Jack Grealish over on this left-hand side or Bernardo Silva, they make sure that they protect their fullbacks, and that's a part of Jack Grealish's game that has improved immeasurably from obviously when he was at Aston Villa, because he was the...
Haaland's just rolled Gabriel and he's charging towards the goal. He's in the 18-yard box, he slipped into the goalkeeper's left, and Ramsdale's made a big save. He's managed to make himself big enough to repel that. The ball down the left-hand side with Grealish into Bernardo Silva, half cleared, and then it's picked up by Zinchenko and it's helped away by Arsenal. But Haaland's had 4-5 chances tonight to score a goal and hasn't managed to do it. Jesus escaping over halfway, plays it out towards the near side, easily stopped by Akanji before it can reach Saka, and now it's with Kevin De Bruyne over the halfway line, looking for Haaland once again. This time he slips before he plays it into the left channel as Manchester City look at it, and Holding will get it clear.
Quite a disappointing miss for him and his standard, it really was.
He's had a few, hasn't he, tonight, really? He should have had a couple of goals. He might get one now because De Bruyne has sent him away again. It's been missed by Partey. Haaland back to the left. De Bruyne tries to tease it into the far corner and does so with aplomb. And Manchester City are powering up and leaving Arsenal in the dust. It's 3-0. It could be 6. It might be by the end of the night. But they are flexing their muscles and they are showing Arsenal just who is boss. Manchester City 3, Arsenal 0.
Sam, it's a lesson, and Granit Xhaka gives the ball away in midfield. Comes to Kevin De Bruyne. There was no way in the world, Sam, that he wasn't going to score. He's in the left-hand side of the penalty area. He just opens his body out and then just bends it round and round so low to his left. So Odegaard gives the ball away. Partey doesn't get close enough. Great little layoff from Erling Haaland. And Kevin De Bruyne just makes that look so simple.
I've got to say, the interaction, Perry, between these two tonight has been absolutely unbelievable. I've never seen these two interact as well as they have tonight, De Bruyne and Haaland.
I think they've been developing a really good understanding over the last few months, and that's just, I think, come to its best conclusion tonight. I think we've seen it at its very best this evening. Away to our left-hand side, the Manchester City fans turn their back on the play and do the Poznan, just a few of them. One or two of the other pockets of the ground not quite getting as excited just yet. 3-0 the scoreline here. Manchester City just taking a timeout because Aaron Ramsdale's picked up an injury over away to our left-hand side. He's getting treatment for that. Now the rest of the ground is starting to join in with the Poznan, and this whole stadium just starts to reverberate, to shake under the weight of the Manchester City fans getting into party mood. You can hear it permeating through our effects mic. They're all doing the Poznan now. The party atmosphere is in full swing. Manchester City's treble bed is in full swing. And they lead by 3-0. Let's go round our grounds elsewhere in the Premier League. Let's start off at the City ground. Nottingham Forest against Brighton. Jeff Peters.
3 minutes to go here. It's Forest 2, Brighton 1. As it stands, Forest are moving out of the relegation zone. That goal from Danilo on 69 came from a Brighton error, and Forest look the side more likely to get a goal here. Forest 2, Brighton 1.
Off to Stamford Bridge for the latest from Joe Shannon.
Chelsea 0, Brentford 1, 15 to go. As Piliqueta's first half goal, the difference so far. Chelsea continue to labour in attack. They haven't seriously tested David Raya. Chelsea 0, Brentford 1.
Gabriel Jesus escaped down the left-hand side for Arsenal in a rare moment of attack. He got something in the face by accident from John Stones. No, he didn't. Oh, yes, he did, eventually. He got a little touch on the chin and he went down as if he was an extra in platoon, and he gets a free kick over on the far side. 3-0 to Manchester City.
That can be painful, that can be dangerous if you just flick that eyelash, I tell you.
I wouldn't know, I have mine plucked. I said plucked, Piercy. Free kick by Odegaard in towards the near post, missed by Partey, comes back to Gabriel, plays it against the defender. It's loose inside the City penalty area. Partey with a back heel, Zinchenko with a strike. Did it come off Haaland? Oh, it's slid over the top by Holding. Well, those half-hearted appeals for a handball inside the penalty area after what was rather chaotic circumstances. It is a corner, and they are going to delay to have a look for a potential penalty shout here. But Haaland's arm was very close to his body, but he did seem to lean into it. That's been waved away, and it is going to be a corner. We're going to go off to Bramall Lane in just a second, but corner first here at the Etihad Stadium, where it's 3-0 to Manchester City, live on Talksport. Decisive game in the title race, a pivotal night in the Premier League, and the City fans just thrown a loose ball in from behind the goal.
I think they've chucked another ball on so Arsenal can get some passing going.
corner kick on this near side. Saka's like saying, someone show for me, any chance? He takes 3 steps back from the quadrant, then looks up, sends a right arm into the air, and then will curl this left-footed deep towards the far post. The header is by Gabriel. Grealish was in there, and I think the foul had been given anyway, so we'll go off to Bramall Lane, and it could be a big goal, this. Here's Alan Biggs.
It might take Sheffield United to the Premier League. Sheffield United 1, West Bromwich Albion 0. Sander Berger the scorer. He was cleverly teed up right in front of the Kop by James McAtee. Sheffield United 1, West Brom 0.
They could be coming back to the Premier League, the boys from Bramall Lane. What about at the City Ground? A penalty for Jeff Peters.
It's the last minute of normal time. Nottingham Forest lead Brighton by 2-1, and Forest have got themselves another penalty. They missed one in the first half. Johnson's spot kick saved by Steele, but Forest have a chance here. Morgan Gibbs-White has picked up the ball, and the Brighton players are just trying to muddy the waters a little bit. There will be a fair bit of time to be added on here, but if this penalty goes in, this goal is scored, then Forest may be taking a huge step towards staying in the Premier League. Forest 2, Brighton 1. Forest have a penalty. It's to be taken by their number 10, Morgan Gibbs-White. Can they put daylight between themselves and Brighton here? He shrugs his shoulders, looks at the ball. Morgan Gibbs-White for Nottingham Forest. He scores! That's a massive, massive goal for Nottingham Forest. They lead Brighton 3-1, and they are moving out of the relegation zone.
That's a huge, huge moment for Nottingham Forest. And there was quite a significant moment here. And there was, I think, quite a lengthy check on a VAR look at something that Granit Xhaka got involved in. Now, he didn't get booked or sent off, but immediately Mikel Arteta decided, I'm taking you off, fella. Perry Groves, you saw it?
Yeah, he had his arm in a headlock. He had Jack Grealish in a sort of a headlock, and there was a coming together. It's what Granit Xhaka does sometimes. He loses his head.
Well, Saka is running in behind past Akanji on the right-hand side. He's playing no further part in this game. He's been substituted and replaced by Jorginho. And Leandro Trossard has come on as well to replace Gabriel Martinelli. He's gone straight down the middle, and Jesus has gone out to the wide left position. What will that change, Stuart Pearce?
Well, they've had to freshen it up in some way, shape or form. I think Jorginho, being where he is at the moment, might be able to get on the ball and play a little bit more. Trossard potentially needs to find a pocket of space and get on it, but when you're starved of the ball like they are, and Trossard just receiving it there and being fouled, allegedly.
30 minutes to go before the conclusion of the match. There's a goal at Stamford Bridge. Which way's it gone? Joe Shannon.
Chelsea 0, Brentford 2. Brian and Burmo on the counter, lashing the ball into the corner. Frank Lampard heading for 5 defeats in 5 as Chelsea caretaker boss. Home fans streaming out of Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Brentford 2.
Saka on the attack for Arsenal, dancing into the penalty area, cleared away by Rodri and out towards the near side. Grealish pokes it forward, and now it's with Holding on the halfway line. And Pep Guardiola just wondering a little bit now about just I think hoping that Arsenal don't get a foothold in the game. They don't want to allow Arsenal to get a foothold in the game. They're 3-0 down, there's half an hour to go. There's much chance of them getting back into the game as there is of Chelsea scoring a goal. But ultimately, he doesn't want to lose the momentum here.
He doesn't want to lose momentum, Sam, but it's just game management now for Man City. The players, you'll have subconsciously have a bit of a rest. You think, right, they know they've got a long season. They're 3-0 up. They're not closing down as far up the pitch as they had been before. They can just say, OK, Arsenal, you can have the ball. We'll have a rest for like 5-6 minutes, and then we might go again.
62 on the clock. Ball is on the wide left position, and they were brilliant against Bayern Munich the last time I was sitting in this seat. They've been fantastic tonight, Manchester City. And Stuart Pearce said earlier on, they've taken football to a new level. Well, 5 titles in 6 seasons is the prize, and they've still got their eyes on the FA Cup final live on Talksport at the beginning of June, and then at the end of the season, maybe they'll be in the Champions League final, although there's 2 games in Madrid and here at the Etihad that are going to be important in deciding that. Elsewhere tonight, Nottingham Forest are coming out of the relegation zone. They're beating Brighton by 3 goals to 1, and after Leeds and Leicester shared the spoils last night, that could be a massive result for Steve Cooper and his team. Brentford beating Chelsea by 2 goals to 0 at Stamford Bridge. West Ham 1, Liverpool 2 is the latest, and here it's 3-0 to Manchester City. Jesus trying to jink his way forward. He can't find Ødegaard with a pass, and Rodri trying to get through a very tight gap, looks to emerge to halfway. He's done it. He's got past Ødegaard and he's moved down the left-hand side, played it against Partey, and won a throw-in on this near side. City actually 3 points worse off than they were after 30 Premier League games last season. They were top a point clear of Liverpool. They've scored 8 more goals but conceded 10 more coming into this game. That was the problem at the beginning of the season. They were conceding too many goals. They've become inflexible at the back now. Not impenetrable. They've conceded a goal here and there every now and again, Stuart Pearce, but since that boy Ruben Diaz walked back into the team, it's been different.
Yeah, it is. And let's not rule out the ability. John Stones has been absolutely wonderful this last sort of 6 weeks and put on some of the best performances of his career. Akanji's developed into a very good one-on-one defender as well, and right across the back line, and Kyle Walker makes taking the ball off of people look rather easy.
Haaland, who's just seen the ball gifted to him, plays it wide towards the left, and Grealish. He's got Gundogan in space, edge of the area. Gundogan sizes up a chance and then converts for 3 points over the top of the crossbar.
You don't need a mole popping up that stage. Just need to get a good strike on it.
Yes, that was a slightly scuffed effort from Ilkay Gundogan. I wonder where he's going to be next season. His contract runs out at the end of the campaign. He lives next door to Pep Guardiola. They occasionally go round to one another's flats for a cup of coffee and a chat about football. But he says his physical condition might not be up to keep playing in the Premier League. Well, Pep's certainly juicing him right to the max, because he played both games against Bayern Munich. He played the FA Cup semi-final, and he's playing tonight.
He's got a very consistent side at the moment here at City, hasn't he?
Absolutely, and then that's one of the major differences, I think, from this to other seasons. I mentioned it on the Game Day podcast earlier in the week. It's almost as if he can't tinker that much, because his squad is actually quite tight. There's not anybody that you look at the bench and you go, OK, Mahrez has scored a hat-trick at the weekend, but does he get in ahead of Bernardo Silva right now? Does he get in ahead of Grealish? Not at this moment in time. Foden's back from injury, but only just. So at this moment in time, there's not like a wealth of what you can't. He's not messing his mind to move people around.
If you see, obviously with Nathan Ake out, then Kyle Walker comes in, so they go to a flat back 4. Kyle Walker's performance has been excellent, and I think sometimes, Guardiola sends messages out even when he said about Kyle Walker, I don't think he's good enough to play.
Oh yeah, he's picking fights, mate.
Just
trying to keep him honest.
And he left Kevin De Bruyne out, didn't he, early in the season, because he thought that,
and said he needs to do the basics better.
He was giving the ball away too much. So I think at the beginning of the season, I think he was worried that they might just rest on their laurels a bit. So as a manager, and Piers will tell you need to put a rocket up people sometimes, and it can be subliminal, it can be very obvious. And with Kyle Walker, it was very obvious.
Yeah, it was even more obvious with João Cancelo. He sent him to Munich. 3-0 the score here. 25 minutes to go before the conclusion of the game. 2 from De Bruyne, 1 from John Stones, and Manchester City are absolutely bossing it. And City's run sees them play 6 of their remaining 7 games of the Premier League season against teams from outside the top half of the table. The only other one they've got is against Brighton, who have suffered a rare defeat tonight. I think it's only their 3rd defeat in 2023 to Nottingham Forest. And that will be a potentially fantastic and decisive game. Ball sent round the corner, out towards the far side. Zinchenko interrupts the progress of Manchester City. Partey picks it up, moves it down through the middle of the park it goes. Arsenal have scored 43 second-half goals, the most in the Premier League, but the chance of them scoring even one here tonight have looked forlorn. I think they've had 1 shot on target in the game.
Man City just having a rest at the moment. They've gone into like a 4-4-2. Just the distance between Man City's back 4 and then midfield and the 2 up front, which is De Bruyne and Erling Haaland, is impeccable. So they're just saying, OK, Arsenal, you can play it in front of us. We'll have a little rest. 23 minutes to go. Game's done and dusted.
Do you know what I'm starting to feel sorry for? The man who follows Pep into the job as manager here.
Make sure you're the one after.
I was the one before that set the bar that low that no matter what he done, he had to look good.
You gave him a big platform on which to build.
Thank you very much. You're only as good as your foundations.
Exactly. 68 minutes gone, and it's Manchester City 3, Arsenal 0. The Arsenal fans looking rather distraught away to our right hand side, a few of them managing a ripple of applause for their team, trying to encourage them. They knew it was going to be unlikely. They knew there was just a part of them that didn't quite believe that they were going to be able to hold off Manchester City for long, but they've dropped key points at the wrong time, and they've just lost their form at the wrong time, as well as a key personnel in William Saliba. Here is Jack Grealish playing the ball in field to Gundogan. A lovely triangle out to the far side. They work so hard, these wide players of Manchester City. Grealish is really coming to his own. He's thriving in a Manchester City shirt, and he looks so comfortable strutting in midfield. Gundogan's just fallen over and given the ball away. Trossard has picked it up for Arsenal. He's charged down the right side, looking for Saka now. Saka taking the ball down into the City half. He gives it back infield to Jorginho, then Partey, and Arsenal just trying to do something with possession. Gabriel, Zinchenko, then into Partey. Tomorrow morning you'll wake up to Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist, and you'll be able to get all of the reaction to all tonight's games in the Premier League. A victory for Forest, even though they've played 10 minutes of added time there. A victory for Brentford. They haven't even finished there, but trust me, it's going to be a win for them at Stamford Bridge. Tight game at the London Stadium, West Ham against Liverpool, and of course all the fallout from this game will be on tomorrow morning, and we'll also bring you straight after the game, because we're on till 10:30 tonight, interviews with the two managers to come before we hand you over to the sports bar, where anyone can have their say on what they've seen. 03717 22 344, and Sheffield United fans might want to get involved if they see their game out at Bramall Lane tonight. They'll be in the Premier League. Mahrez about to come on, Smith Rowe about to come on.
Yeah, I saw Gundogan give the ball away there and just half drop to the turf, and Pep turned round and went get the sub on. So I don't know whether it is Gundogan, but certainly indications have it that he might well be City sub.
Yeah, Mahrez maybe go out to the right hand side, Silva coming to the centre. Pep Guardiola asked his supporters to be loud tonight. They certainly have been. Big bold letters at the bottom of his programme notes. We need you loud tonight. Here's Ødegaard into Saka, and it's given away. Haaland picks it up, gives it to De Bruyne. Oh,
it's not working, them two, is it? De Bruyne and Haaland. They haven't got that understanding.
Chemistry's not right, no. Obviously.
Gabriel in towards Trossard inside the penalty area, across into the box. It's headed away by Rodri, further clear by Kanji, and then picked up by De Bruyne, who gives it to Jack Grealish. They're very comfortable with the ball. Saka commits a foul, free kick. We're going to have those two substitutions now. I mean, they did score some late goals in the game on Friday night, Arsenal, but I don't think they've got enough about them today to get back into this situation. It is Ilkay Gundogan who comes off, gives the captain's armband to Kevin De Bruyne. Mahrez will come on over to the right-hand side. Silva comes into the centre. Emil Smith-Rowe is coming on. It looks like Ødegaard is moving towards this near side to be replaced by Emil Smith-Rowe. That's a like-for-like change. To win a game like this, you have to play without fear in your mind. Has the fear for Arsenal played a part this evening, do you think?
I'd say not. I don't think you can point a critical finger at Arsenal. Yes, you can pick up on certain individuals, haven't been good enough one-on-one, and it's easy after the event. But Manchester City, I think it's a night to turn around and just say how good what a performance this is from City, personally.
I think Man City, they've seen the upstarts and they're coming into their backyard, and it's them just like slapping them down a bit, basically, because every Man City player's attitude and intensity was spot on. You said about the atmosphere here at the Etihad, that's because the players actually created that atmosphere by the way that they performed in that first half.
There's another collision involving Thomas Partey, which has led to John Stones getting another whack. He's gone down, wants a bit of treatment. Jack Grealish is protesting. Partey shoved him into the ground and then kicked him on the back of the head. I think by accident. He did stiff on his shoulder as well. That's just part of the game, isn't it, Perry?
Listen, when you're 3-0 down in a high-intensity game like this, you're desperate to leave a little bit of something on somebody.
Get angry.
You are.
You've got to get angry.
What does it do for the title race?
I think it's done. I said before, Sam, if Man City won, I think it's done and dusted.
Does the manner underscore that.
Yeah, it just sends a message out to Real Madrid as well. You know, Man City at this particular time and the way that they're playing are the best team in Europe. That's whether they can get over that final hurdle and win the Champions League. Obviously, Real Madrid with their history, but I'm looking at Man City now, and if their players' attitude stays the same, and they haven't raised their game, I think they've just been on that level for probably 4 or 5 weeks.
They've been brilliant. Haaland holding off Holding, laying the ball into Grealish. Muscular, strong, the striking Viking hasn't scored yet so far in the game.
He'll be absolutely desperate because your team's cruising at 3-0. In a million years, he'll be looking over the bench thinking, don't you dare take me off.
He's played a big part, though, Stuart, hasn't he, with his hold-up play?
That's an understatement. I just like the way he plays the game. He's a real winner out there. You know, he's only a young kid still, age-wise, but the way he plays the game, he stands his corner, he's aggressive with people, he won't take any liberties from anybody, physicality-wise. And listen, he's just an outstanding talent. He really is. It can only get better.
Do you know what the frightening thing is, Piercy? He hasn't filled out yet at 23. You imagine, no. Because you do. He's got
22, isn't he?
22, right? You imagine when he actually does and physically get into a frame of his body.
And probably tonight I've seen him have more involvements and interchanges than any game I can remember for City. Yeah. He's been there to hold the ball up, to fight centre halves,
getting back, helping out defensively as well as Bernardo Silva goes down the left hand side looking to try and open up Arsenal for a 4th time. You're listening to Manchester City 3, Arsenal 0 on Talksport with Now Sports. Don't forget that with Now Sports you can stream all the Premier League action live tonight from 11:99. There's a bit of a ruckus going on, and Jack Grealish and Thomas Partey getting involved with one another. Partey's been getting ready for a flare-up over the course of the evening. Jack Grealish has taken a little bit of umbrage towards him because he feels as if he hasn't been punished, and now he's asking Michael Oliver to do just that.
Do you know what, Sam? It winds me. I know that obviously Thomas Partey's been given the runaround, which he has, as the Arsenal midfield have this evening. That's like pseudo that you're really bothered. Do you know what I mean? It's like showing the fans, look, I'm aggressive, I'm pretending that it's really affecting me. I think, no, actually, close people down, go and tackle people, go and get yourself on the ball, rather than just the easy way out to show that aggression in a little flare-up. It's meaningless.
It's a yellow card for Thomas Partey. I think there's going to be one for Jack Grealish as well here. Although I can't confirm that at this moment in time. We'll go off to the City ground where they've played about 15 minutes of added time. Jeff Peters.
Well, Forest have beaten Brighton 3-1. Huge win out of the relegation zone. Great character after missing an early penalty and going behind to teenager Facundo Buonanote's first for the Seagulls. They levelled thanks to a gross own goal. Danilo gave them the lead before a late Gibbs-White penalty for Dunk's clear handball sealed the result and had the City ground bouncing. Massive result. Forest 3, Brighton 1.
Massive result for Steve Cooper and Nottingham Forest, who move out of the relegation zone as a result of that. It's full-time at Stamford Bridge. Joe Shannon.
0 Brentford 2, no win in 8 for Chelsea, their worst run since 1993. An own goal from Azpilicueta and a Burmo strike on the counter, and a comfortable win for Brentford. Chelsea 0, Brentford 2.
And full-time in the game at the London Stadium. Ian Abrahams.
West Ham 1, Liverpool 2. The Hammers ahead through Lucas Paqueta early on. Cody Gakpo equalised before Joel Matip headed a second-half winner, but West Ham denied a penalty late on for a handball against Thiago Alcantara, which annoyed David Moyes at the end. He went up and had a word with the referee. Finished here, West Ham 1, Liverpool 2.
Goal at Bramall Lane, Alan Biggs.
It's Sheffield United 2, West Bromwich Albion 0, and surely Anel Ahmedhodzic has sealed the deal on promotion. A lovely cushion volley with his left foot after a volley from further out from George Baldock gave him an opportunity in front of goal. Sheffield United 2, West Bromwich Albion 0.
Akanji powering through midfield, plays it to the left hand side, gets the return from Grealish, sets it through the 6-yard box, is blocked by Jorginho and cleared away. Anel Ahmedhodzic has started the party at Bramall Lane. He's a Manchester City fan. He'll be delighted with this result as well. He's had a very busy week with his wife due to give birth this week as well, and he's on the score sheet for Sheffield United again. He's been a rare find And Sheffield United are coming back to the Premier League. Congratulations to Paul Heckingbottom, who's done a fantastic job there in difficult circumstances. And all sorts of stories today about what's happening with the takeover, but certainly he's done a brilliant job, and they're coming back to the Premier League. The Premier League that at the moment looks as if it's going to be heading to Manchester again. Ball forward by White for Arsenal, headed away by Akanji, comes down to Saka, plays it against Rodri, handball, free kick on the edge of the penalty area to Arsenal. So the table looks like this: Southampton bottom, 24 points, 32. Everton 19th, play tomorrow, 28 points, 32. They play Newcastle. Leicester drop into the bottom three after what was a tough day at the office last night at Leeds United. 29 points, 33. Nottingham Forest move out, 30 points from 33. Leeds 30 points from 33, and then Bournemouth, who play tomorrow against Southampton, 33 points from 32 games. West Ham just above them with 34 from 32. It certainly looks as if it can only be now that bottom seven who can go down after so long there being about 15 teams involved, although Chelsea are doing their best to get involved. Free kick to Arsenal away to our right-hand side, 4 yards back from the edge of the penalty area. Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah coming on for Arsenal with 11 minutes to play. The Arsenal fans really trying to get behind their team now. Not that there's not much chance of even a comeback here, even if they were to get a goal. But they have a free kick away to our right. There's a 5-man City wall blocking the goal. It's a shade right of centre. Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe standing over it. Jorginho is trying to organise the wall. It's going to go round that wall, I think, and Saka blasted over the top of the crossbar.
And he just couldn't quite get enough dip on it. Bukayo Saka trying to bend it into Ederson's top right-hand corner. Goes a couple of yards over the crossbar. The Arsenal fans trying to keep themselves involved, Sam, so they realise that their team's been given a lesson. It's not, you know, when you come to, as a fan, you're an away fan, you look at your team, you think, we haven't put the effort in, you know, we haven't had the application. It's nothing to do with that.
Yeah, it's not Tottenham away at Newcastle.
No, not at all. It's nothing to do with that. The players have tried to implement the game plan. I think that the game plan was wrong, because, as I said, they tried to put a high press. Man City just bypassed it, goes into Erling Haaland, and then him and Kevin De Bruyne get their link-up play going.
Oh, Kevin De Bruyne rings around the Etihad Stadium. He needs to do the basics a little bit better, but he does the extraordinary incredibly well. 2 goals tonight, 3-0 to Manchester City. He's off, Alvarez is on. And a couple of substitutions for Arsenal, with Reece Nelson coming into the fray and Eddie Nketiah coming onto the pitch as well. And Saka has come off, and Jesus as well for the final few minutes of the game. Stuart Pearce.
Just when you thought Arsenal, things couldn't get any worse, a free scoring Chelsea are coming to the Emirates very shortly.
Yeah, live on Talksport next Tuesday night. Going to be a really tough game, that one, for Mikel Arteta. At least he'll be able to get back on the horse, I think, in that match.
I think you might play N'Golo Conte up front.
It's a debate for another day. 03717 223344 is the number to call if you'd like to get in touch with the Sports Bar a little bit later on. I'm sure the boys would love to hear from you. Haaland trying to get on the score sheet, and it's currently 3-0 to Manchester City, and the latest odds, and you want to head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Haaland to score any time at 3-1. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18 plus, begambleaware.org. This is Talk Sport. Just wonder if you could foresee any further stumbles for Manchester City, bearing in mind their fixture list. Look, obviously there's still a long way to go, and they've got more games than most to play, Stuart. In fact, they've got a lot of games to play in comparison to Arsenal, who still will feel somewhere in their hearts that there's a chance, there's just a little chance if Manchester City stumble. But I mean, they might be clutching at straws in that regard.
Well, as we mentioned before, I think Arsenal were going to drop points up at Newcastle as well. That will compound things. But if City approach every game with this same mentality, which isn't easy to do, by the way, this was a special game today. You could tell walking to the stadium, the excitement, pre-kick-off, the excitement with the crowd, and Manchester City players matched that and fuelled it.
Yeah, some big fixtures to come. They've got Fulham away Then West Ham at home, Leeds at home, Real Madrid away, Everton away, Real Madrid at home, Chelsea at home, Brighton away, Brentford away, and then the FA Cup final. Treble?
Well, put it this way, league-wise, there's not too much there on paper, on form that you would think would trouble City, as long as they're at it on each individual day. The Real Madrid home and away is going to be intriguing. It really is. I think if they get past that, the trophy's theirs.
It'll be live on Talksport. Here's Reece Nelson getting away from Rodri. They've got 5, the right side of the ball, Arsenal here, as they go on the attack. On the left side with Nketiah. Gets into the penalty area. A low ball through towards the far post. It flashes past that far post and goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Arsenal still got some big fixtures to play as well. Chelsea live on Talksport. Newcastle we've mentioned. Brighton, Forest and Wolves, Forest scrapping for their lives. I think Stuart's already predicted that they'll drop points still between now and the end of the season, and if that happens they'll start thinking Manchester City of tying those blue ribbons back on the trophy. Again, it's been a consummate performance. Phil Foden's about to come on now just to make things a little bit easier for Arsenal.
Well, that's what you were saying about obviously Man City's running. This is their strongest team. Nathan Ake, obviously, if he was fit, he'd be in it, but Pep Guardiola's going to rotate. You said there, when he rotates, Phil Foden comes on, Riyad Mahrez comes on, Calvin Phillips will get some game time probably in the games that they would be expected to win. Alvarez can give Haaland a little rest every now and again, so the quality they got on the bench is absolutely staggering.
Here is Walker over on the far side, playing the ball back towards John Stones. They're keeping the ball inside their own half now, Manchester City. No need to sweat, no need to burn up unnecessary energy prior to that game at the weekend against Fulham. That's on Sunday afternoon. We'll keep you in touch with it on Talksport. We've got a busy day. You're going, aren't you, Fulham against Man City, Perry, for the Sunday session?
Yep, I'll be there at Craven Cottage. Just a nice little trip up the Thames and a little walk across Bishop's Park.
Yeah.
Might even have a little dive in the infinity pool.
You have to buy one of the apartments to get in that, I think. That's on Sunday. We'll keep you in touch with everything that happens through the Premier League. Busy day on Sunday in the Premier League. Saturday we've got game day returning. Our usual service. We're at Crystal Palace at lunchtime. Here is Nelson down the right side for Arsenal, trying to get into a deep right position, trying to get the cross in, bounces off Akanji, goes out for a rare corner.
I think we're fortunate as well that Arsenal have made a real challenge of the Premier League title this year. You know, let's not lose track of the fact that Arsenal have been outstanding. Yes, they haven't had a victory in the last 4, but I think the standard that they've reached has pushed City to aspire to a higher standard.
Absolutely, and they're going to get into the Champions League. They've bridged a massive gap from last season where they couldn't even get that over the line. Here is the corner on the near side. Trossard to take it. Pep Guardiola is on his knee, bent down, chin being propped up by his elbow as the ball comes into the penalty area. It was a dreadful corner. Zinchenko sends it back to Trossard, whose delivery wasn't great. Goes to Nelson, back to goal, turns it round the corner. Trossard inside the area now, trying to get a shot away. Cuts in, plays it to Holding, and Holding smashes it into the back of the net. And Holding runs away towards the halfway line in celebration of a consolation goal for Arsenal.
To be fair, Sam, for a centre-half, that was a top-class finish. Good play from Trossard in the right-hand corner of the box. It was a poor corner from him initially. The ball comes back out. Comes to Trossard on the right wing position. He just rolls it into Reece Nelson. Little give and go back to Trossard, rolls it to Rob Holding with the inset with his right foot. He bends it past Edison, giving absolutely no chance. It's a consolation goal, but I'll tell you what, Pep Guardiola will be absolutely apoplectic that his team has conceded, because they've just switched off from the corner.
Jack Grealish coming off, and Pep Guardiola has demanded that the crowd give him a huge round of applause. They do that, and he goes off. He'll be furious that they've conceded a goal, Stuart Pearce, but it was some thumping finish.
Yeah, he will. And once again, you've got to give credit to Arsenal there. Trossard's done really well, nice give and go, and laid a great ball on, right way, and said just come onto it, and Holding certainly did that.
Surprised that Haaland has been left on the pitch.
He's been strange with Haaland, actually. There's a few games that we've covered that I've looked at and thought, why hasn't he taken him and De Bruyne off earlier? But he tends to sort of persist with him on the pitch.
He liaises very heavily with the medical staff because Haaland's never played 42 games in a season. This is game number 44 for him this campaign. And I wonder whether or not he's just trying to make him more robust.
Sam, you know what? I think I read an interview. He said that Haaland doesn't really train much. But, you know, when you've got like weekend, midweek, midweek, he's normally with the masseuse and he's normally obviously with the physios. And I think this is obviously, he's unbelievably fit. But as you said there, he wants to get 90 minutes under his belt, and he'll probably just give him, you know, come in tomorrow just for recovery day. He might even give him a day off.
Yellow card for Rodri for a cynical foul, and Arsenal coming forward again, looking to try and cause a bit of a stir here in the last few minutes. That ball runs through to Ederson, and Nketiah is not giving up the chase, and Ederson eventually picks it up in the left corner of the field. 2 minutes to go. You're listening to Talk Sport, and we're just moments away. Both Ali McCoist and I both predicted 3-1 on the curse of the commentator earlier on today. And Adrian Durham puts his hand up as well and says that he did too. Yeah. Was it that obvious?
Just for completeness, I didn't.
Did you not?
No.
Perry?
Nor did I.
No, okay.
I went for a 2-2 draw.
I also predicted Nottingham Forest to beat Brighton today, but they didn't take that prediction off me. They wouldn't take a fourth prediction. I was furious about that. Haaland down the left-hand side, being wrestled to the ground by Thomas Partey, who's already been booked, and Michael Oliver is turning around and making it demonstrably known to everybody, don't bother asking me for a red card, I ain't gonna give it.
Do you know what? He's actually quite lucky there, Thomas Partey.
He's been lucky with quite a few things. He gave away a penalty in the first minute of the game that didn't get given.
If he hadn't been on a yellow card, I think that would have been a yellow. And you have to say, I'm a big fan of Michael Oliver. I think he referees games really well. He doesn't get caught up in the emotion and the tension. He's one of the few referees, Sam, that I think always looks like he's in control of the game, and actually he enjoys it.
Do you think he smiles enough though, Perry?
I think he's enjoyed himself, hasn't he? He hasn't paid to get in.
He doesn't smile like Rob Holding smiles, though, does he?
I think tonight Rob Holding has been more of a grimace than a smile.
Foden trying to poke it down the left-hand side. Perry Groves alongside us, double title winner with Arsenal, and Stuart Pearce, who managed this club, captained this club to a title in Division 1, promoted to the Premier League. I remember the day it happened, the final day of the season at Main Road, and enjoying life in the Premier League here. 5 minutes of additional time, and there was a big banner prior to kick-off here about Main Road and Moss Side, which is further south of the city, where Manchester City draw a lot of their support from the east side of Manchester and the south side of the city, with Manchester United from Salford on the west side of the great city of Manchester. And those two teams will meet in the FA Cup final later in the season. Back here from Foden, a little trick to get it back to Akanji. It's floated out to the far side. Terrific performance from Manchester City, that Arsenal will be thinking about adding to their squad in the summer. Declan Rice and Moises Caicedo have been linked. I actually said earlier in the season, I think Declan Rice to Arsenal is something that's getting stronger and stronger. There was a link to Mason Mount today as well, although I have heard down the grapevine that Chelsea in the last week or so have just advanced their talks with Mason Mount, maybe because of a managerial candidate suggesting that he would be good to hold on to. At one stage it looked very much as if he was heading out the door.
I wouldn't say that Mason Mount, where he plays, is a priority for Arsenal. We've seen tonight, and the evidence of the last 4 games, including tonight, that Arsenal need another top quality centre half. That would be a priority.
Well, they're still, trusting the process, aren't they? They're in the building stage. They are going to play in the Champions League, which will make a massive difference to them next year. It will give them extra revenue. Manchester City are going for something a little bit more, though, and you just wonder how crushing this defeat will be for Arsenal. City have come close to clean sweeps before. 2019, they won the domestic treble. They're just playing around on the halfway line now, and then they've released Alvarez, who tries to produce a cross into the box, which goes over the head of Foden and a playing away to our left-hand side. And you remember that domestic treble they won in 2019, but went out to Ajax in late drama in the Champions League. 2021 they were rampant league winners, but lost the Champions League and FA Cup to Chelsea. Last year they were taken all the way by Liverpool in the league, but lost the semi-final at Wembley to them in the FA Cup, and somehow lost to Real Madrid in the semi-final of the Champions League. They've got a big semi-final to come in that competition live on Talksport. Emil Smith-Rowe has it on the halfway line, plays it down the left-hand side. We're into the second minute of added time. On to Nketiah into the penalty area. 3-1 to Manchester City here on Talksport. Up to Alvarez, allows it to go past him, and then Mahrez nicks it, and now Haaland is charging forward through the middle of the pitch. He's waiting for the delivery. Mahrez slows up, moves towards the edge of the penalty area, and then Jorginho was well placed to nick that away. And I think Haaland was a little frustrated that the ball didn't come quicker.
Exactly, I think Riyad Mahrez there has got to release Haaland, who's just marauding through the centre of the pitch. Mahrez obviously fresh from his hat-trick in the FA Cup semi-final, thought he was going to cut on his left-hand side, ended up giving the ball away.
Here is Foden up towards Haaland, who's taken his little band out, the bobble from his hair, and the mane is flowing around now. He looks like Thor. Here is Walker, far side. 3-1 the score. We're into the fourth minute of the added 5. Free kick to Manchester City over on the right hand side. A look to the heavens from the Viking, who's just throwing out that hair. I think he's going for a L'Oreal advert. Look at him. Is it because he's worth it? Well, he's certainly worth the transfer fee that they played for him, because it wasn't that much compared with what he delivers. Ominous form for Manchester City. 12 wins this will be in 13 relentless games. There are quite some games to come. Sheffield United are up, promoted, 2-0 winners at Bramall Lane tonight over West Bromwich Albion. They're into the Premier League. Congratulations to them. Arsenal may be leading the Premier League race, but they can feel the hot breath of Manchester City on their necks. Here's Haaland inside the area and scores. The ball broke to him inside the box, and he caps a fantastic Manchester City display. Arsenal's boss said nothing will be decided tonight. I'm not sure about that. The ball broke from the right-hand side into the penalty area. It was dabbed towards Haaland, who turned and in one swift movement swiveled and fired it past the despairing arms of Aaron Ramsdale. With flowing locks trailing behind him, he went stealing away to the Manchester City fans in the North Stand to celebrate his 49th goal of the season. 4-1.
Sam, Erling Haaland has been head and shoulders above everybody in Arsenal's back four. He's in peak condition, and just as the ball just nestles onto his left foot, there's no doubt, just on the half volley, just guides it past Aaron Ramsdale. Actually, looking at Aaron Ramsdale, I think you might be disappointed, Sam, because it's gone underneath his right forearm. But you have to say, the 4-1 scoreline is absolutely justified. I think 3-1 would have been very flattering for Arsenal.
Full-time whistle. That is the sound of supporters that expect to be champions. At one stage, the gap was so big, it looked unbridgeable. But after this Manchester City victory, it looks like an insignificant crack that Manchester City can and probably will just hop over. Arsenal have gone from title favourites to also-rans in agonising weeks. Manchester City know if they win their remaining games, they will be champions for the 5th time in 6 seasons. It's all gone off in the middle of the pitch at the end of the game, with Haaland getting involved, Ben White being held back, and Rob Holding having to act as peacemaker. It's an unsavoury way to end the match, but it was quite a tasty performance from Manchester City. There's no chance of quelling the treble talk now. Manchester City, with a stroke of strength, have beaten Arsenal by 4-1.
Well, it's got to be in Manchester City's hands now. They may not be top, but they've got 2 games in hand, 2 points behind the Gunners, and that performance was the statement that everybody was fearing. Manchester City, totally dominant. Just watching Zinchenko walk off the pitch now, shakes a few hands as he heads towards the tunnel. A champion here. Will he be a champion with Arsenal? Well, they've got a hell of a lot of work to do, and they've got to watch City play like that every week, hoping that they slip up, hoping somebody can take points off them. Ben White, who was in that schmozzle right at the end there, Erling Haaland went racing over to confront him. So what Ben White was doing, heaven only knows. He's gone down the tunnel as well. Mikel Arteta down the tunnel. The Arsenal players went over to their fans to applaud them and got the same back. But they're heading down the tunnel, a well-beaten side. And the celebrations from the City players at the full-time whistle just about said it all. And I think that's a compliment to Arteta and Arsenal. John Stones leapt in the air and punched the air at the same time as well. Phil Foden did exactly the same. So they knew what it meant to win this game and to win it comfortably as well, with arguably one of the best performances I think we've ever seen from Pep Guardiola's side. But let's put it into context, because the 1st of April, Arsenal thrashed Leeds 4-1 to go 8 points clear. City had only 1 game in hand. Well, April Fool's Gold, I think that was for the Gunners. 25 days later, Arsenal are still top, but only 2 points clear, and City have 2 games in hand. They're winning games, they're scoring goals. It all looks oh so ominous when just over 3 weeks ago it looked so good for the Gunners. They will be devastated as they head back down south after this game tonight. They got a consolation goal, but that literally is all it was. Haaland got his goal in the end, and it finished Manchester City 4, Arsenal 1. And Stuart Pearce, those in blue shirts tonight, coming off the pitch, smiles, all smiles. Julian Alvarez, a massive smile on his face. Diaz out there applauding the fans. John Stones doing exactly the same. Erling Haaland punching the air, saluting the fans. Kevin De Bruyne celebrated the Haaland goal like he was a fan. So they're all smiles and all happy. Manchester City. Are these the champions we're looking at? Those in blue shirts, Stuart Pearce, are these the champions?
100% now. I mean, City, when you look at the points difference, Aid, in the league, Manchester City have beaten Arsenal home and away now, haven't they? So that is the difference between the two sides. They've done their work against their main rivals, and wow, what a statement they've put down today. Arsenal now 4 games without a victory at a real crucial stage of the season. How this will affect them mentally going into their remaining games, who knows. I think Arsenal have been a real credit to the division this year. I see the bigger picture where maybe fans on occasion see it game by game scenario. I think they've been a real credit to the Premier League and puts City under a bit of pressure for their title retention. But City, wow, what a performance, Aid. As good as I've seen in the Premier League history, I think. It was that good tonight.
Well, I'll say that I agree with you on Arsenal. They do deserve a lot of credit. They've hit a wall, and what they've conceded, 11 goals in 4 games, winning none of them, drawing 3 and losing 1, getting battered here at City tonight. But without Arsenal, City would probably be champions already. So there is that side of the story that we have to tell as well. But that was a big gulf tonight. If you look at the 2 games overall, that's a 7-2 victory on aggregate for Manchester City. And of course, it's Man City who've won a lot of titles recently. They're a brilliant team. So Perry Groves, there's a lot of ground to make up, and Arsenal have done very well, but there's still a massive gulf between the two.
Yeah, this is like master craftsmen against apprentices, to be honest, and that's what we've seen tonight. The game at the Emirates, the 3-1 game, was a lot closer than this one. Arsenal got themselves back into it 1-1. Then give away silly goals. I think Gabriel made a mistake for Man City's second goal. Here tonight, this is when you're coming into the enemy territory. This is Man City actually saying to Arsenal, by the way, you think that you're as good as what we are, you're nowhere near. When we're at it and we're 100% focused and we play with that purpose, we play with that energy, you're not going to be able to live with us. And that's exactly what it was. A lesson for Arsenal tonight. You know, we've got to be perfectly frank, and it could have been, not an exaggeration, it could have been 7 or 8, because I think Erling Haaland missed 4 gilt-edged chances, which you'd expect him to bury at least 2 of them. So I think Mikel Arteta will say when it'll be very quiet in the Arsenal dressing room, because they know that they've been completely outclassed. It's not through lack of effort, it's not through lack of application. I think tactically Arteta could have had a tweak, because he wanted his team to play with no fear and he wanted to go and close down, but they got caught in between. Man City were very clever at bypassing, whether they played through you or he went into De Bruyne and into Haaland. Rob Holding got himself caught out of position a lot of times. I think Thomas Partey was too far up the pitch in the first half, so he was easy to bypass. But you'd be licking your wounds if you're an Arsenal player, and it's the reaction now Mikel Arteta will be looking at his players, because in football you're going to come up against teams that are far better than you, and that's exactly what they've come up to tonight. He won't want Arsenal's season now to peter out, to affect them. He'll want them to get them back to the levels that they've been showing. As you said there, they haven't won for 4 games, drawing obviously the last 3, conceding too many goals. And the problem with Arsenal is the depth of the squad. The drop-off from Saliba to Rob Holding is far too big. And I said, when Sam was saying about who might be coming in, they need to get another top quality centre-half. The drop-off from Granit Xhaka to Fabio Vieira against Southampton is far too big. So Arsenal probably need 3 or 4 players to strengthen their squad, which they will probably get because they're in the Champions League, so that brings you more money. And I'm sure that Stan Kroenke will release that money, because Arsenal will improve. They will improve next season. But this is just a time where sometimes you just say, it's like the Mike Bassett, doesn't it? Say, well, they were good. and that is exactly what it was. So it was just a complete and utter lesson.
Man City 4, Arsenal 1. Let me reiterate that the top of the table looks like this. Arsenal have played 33, they've got 75 points. Man City have played 31, they've got 73 points. So Man City 4, Arsenal 1. Elsewhere in the Premier League.